Hello and welcome.
Hi, everybody.
Telling Mars that the universe answered my cafe prayers, guys. I got to go to a really fun, cool cafe.
It responded to Ori.
Ooh. I also have a side thing. So Mars.
Oh.
So Mars, I sent you the desserts. Hello, Mason. But Mason, everyone in chat and Mars can participate. I'm gonna put an image in the couch. And I want y'all to see if you can tell me what's wrong with this image.
Okay.
Because I saw this today, and I thought it was cute. And I'm like, but it's off. Why is it off? And I realized why it's off. And I'm curious how long it takes you guys to see this.
I'm very curious.
I've sent it in the couch.
Challenge.
I was like, I know what it is. And I was like, but why does it seem off? And I realized why it seems off.
I feel like the Pikachu tail is wrong.
It's wrong. They attached the end to where the butt would be instead of the butt part. It's like backwards or upside down. I don't know what you want to call it.
I'm so sorry I said that out loud.
No, it's
but
okay.
But I got it immediately.
It's okay. I just, like, it's so funny to me, right? Because it's like, you have to love Pokemon a certain amount to want to put this sticker on your car, right? But you don't like it enough to not get the Pikachu tail right. Like, that's a very iconic, you know, thing. Like, nobody was like, this seems a little off. Yeah, Mason, exactly. It's like, nobody's like, It's just like, what? Like, how was it printed on the piece of, like, sticker backing you got? I bet it was right side up there. You know, like, I just don't get it. I just like, how did we come to this?
That is a level of impressive.
A newfound appreciation.
I don't know
why,
level,
Mason?
But it is impressive.
It's just like, okay, cool, we like Pokemon. But, like, from a distance? Like, I don't even, like, you know, my first instinct is to say this person's only played Pokemon as Pokemon Go. And it's like, they would still know what the Pokemon look like. I guess just maybe not that well? I don't know. It's just very weird to me.
That's just so wild.
It's just like, okay, we like this thing enough.
If you like Pokemon enough to put it on your car.
Yeah,
but you
to get a
sticker right.
To put on the car. Oh shit, Mason. Oh my god. I heard his like cellmates cheered or something. I don't know.
Oh damn.
This guy's okay, can I be like controversial but not controversial on stream for a second?
Go for it.
So Dylan was talking with his mother, and they got on the topic of Luigi, right? And she was like, "No, it's like bad. It's unfortunate. Any death is bad." And you know, we're like, "Really?" And Dylan got to the point. He's like, "So would you kill Hitler if you had the chance, knowing what he like we know what he did,
that
right?
Is
this
such
isn't
a
like
Dylan thing to
right."
Say.
And she said no.
Right.
She said no. What the fuck? What? You said no? What do you mean you said no?
What the fuck? I wonder about your mother-in-law sometimes.
Yeah, I wonder about her a lot too, man. A lot too. Oh my god. As well. Okay. So, guys. Really funny thing. So, Dylan's mother got us an ornament, a Christmas ornament.
Oh my god!
To celebrate. No. I have new shit about it. I have new shit about it. Okay.
New shit. Oh,
yeah.
Spill.
So, and it's this round ornament, and it's to celebrate Dylan's and my engagement, right? Because we got engaged in February of this year, like the end, like the 26th. Okay. And we got engaged in a different place than where we lived all our lives before recently, right? So we used to live in the town where my parents live, where Mars lives. We don't live there anymore, and we got engaged closer to our new place of residence, okay? This is important to the story. In
Very
September, my mother threw us an engagement party to celebrate our engagement. Dylan's mother got us an ornament that has a map, our names, and a date. And on the map, there's a little star. My understanding is that the point of this ornament is to denote where you got engaged and the date of your engagement. However, it is neither of those things. Instead, it has the star at the location of our engagement party, which is near where Mars lives, and like our childhood homes, and the date of the engagement party. Okay. So Dylan and I, it was also sent to us without her saying anything. The box that it arrived in had no information of who sent it, no like gift, note in it like you can get with like Amazon where it's like, from so and so or whatever. So we had no idea who it was from. But we have confirmed it was from Dylan's mom. Now, Mars was very cute, and Mars got us a Christmas ornament as well, and it's us as like the peanut, like, so we're like Peanuts characters, like in the Peanuts character style. She not AI generated. She like basically P-crewed it with like the website, and
basically the website let you create people.
Yeah, in the
looked like in the style of the Peanuts. Yeah. So it was like choose your hair, choose your clothes. So I tried to pick things that were very Ori, very Dylan.
Yeah, and it definitely looks like us.
Couldn't make his beard work without it looking ridiculous.
It's fine. I prefer him clean shaven anyway. So. I literally trade making Thai tea concentrate for him to shave. So we got this ornament, and it's super cute, and we both liked it, and it's really adorable, and it doesn't have any weird date, location related things on it. Very, very odd. To be honest, I think it's because Dylan's mom lives many states away from us now. She retired many states away, like flying distance away. And she could not be part of the engagement because it was a surprise to me. And so like my parents who live within an hour drive from us could be there, and Mars who lives within an hour drive of us could be part of it as well, but his mother couldn't. And I think that I know that she's pretty miffed about that fact, but it's like, what do you want to do? Like, what are you gonna do?
You chose to move very far away.
Yeah, you chose to move very far away. And but so I'm telling my mother now. So okay. So I didn't tell my mother about Dylan's mom's ornament. And she ended up messaging my mother about like, oh, did you see it? Did you hear about it? It's like, what? Okay, what the fuck? But all right. And I'm like, oh no, sorry, Mom. And I like told her all about it, and I like sent her a picture of it, and she's like, oh my god. So at the same time, I had sent her a picture of both the ornament Dylan's mother got and the ornament Mars got us. And well, okay, I could explain that to Lauren in a little bit, in a second, Mason. But so my mom's like, all right, Ori, I gotta go. And she does not hang up the phone, which is normal. Honestly, usually I'm the one to hang up. That's just how she is. But when I was going to hang up, I immediately hear, oh my god, look, to my grandmother, my nanny. Look, it's so ugly. Talking about Dylan's mom ornament. And so I'm like, no, I'm gonna sit and wait on the phone here. They don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna sit and listen in. And then a little later, she's like, oh, look, this one's so cute. Look at what Mars got there. So this is unfiltered. My mom didn't know I was even listening. And I just thought that was so funny. Immediately, all right, bye, Ori, talk to you later. God, Mom, look. So my mom to her mom, God, Mom, look, this is so terrible. It's so terrible. And then she's explaining it's the engagement party date and everything. And I'm dying. I'm just dying. And so the next time I call my mom, I tell her that I heard it, and she was cracking up. So
that
funny.
Is epic.
So funny. But Dylan Beard.
I'm very proud of my ability to pick gifts.
Yeah, you are.
Now my ego has been stoked even more.
I hope
that I know your mom approves.
Right? I have to check. I hope at least the one gift comes to me to give to you for Christmas-ish time. Because I I did order something recently for Mars. Oh, it should come. It should come Monday. Awesome. Great. I'll get to physically give you something as well.
I wonder when yours will come.
But, so Dylan beard stuff. So Dylan really likes having a beard. He feels very manly with a beard. He likes how it looks with the beard. And don't get me wrong, you know, with the sort of like, not like a full bushy beard, like it doesn't like come off his face. I don't like that much, but like something that gives you like, you know, beards are like makeup for men, that built-in makeup for men, right? You know, they get that little built-in power because it really does sort of like highlight your jaw and stuff, you know, when you trim it right and you do stuff to it. He looks good, there's no question. However, it is pointy and scratchy and the worst thing in the world. And I think that I'm actually possibly mildly allergic to it because even when it's slightly longer, if it still pokes me, I will get like nearly hives. Like it's itchy, like it's a problem. Okay?
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. And so not only is he a butt and pain in the ass, where he enjoys torturing me by rubbing. So it's only on like certain parts of me that it like gets a weird allergic reaction. He'll like come up and he'll like scratch his cheek on my cheek, and that doesn't get like an allergic reaction. It's just annoying and scratchy. So I will literally take my nails and I will like scratch his cheek back. Like, this is what you're doing. And I like refuse to like kiss him because it's like I hate how it feels, right? It's just a literally texture thing. And so it's always like a fight when we like before we lived together, when we'd only see each other once a week, he would like only shave once a week, and you know, and would like shave right before he came over to see me.
He has to do it all the time.
So he doesn't do it every day, but he knows like the boundaries that when he's unshaven, he can't do that sort of stuff. But so he was like every time, yeah?
Is it the cutie magnet?
No, actually. The line... the line... Okay, hold on 1 second, stream. The line is...
I would not.
You would say... That is literally your goal in life. I'm annoying! That's... You strive to be annoying. Yes. Yes, you do. We're talking about
you
your
cannot
beard.
deny, Dylan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Ori's got you here.
You've intrigued me.
Oh, I've intrigued you. Mason's just like,
hello, Mason.
I didn't know Dylan had a beard, and I'm talking about how like you only have a beard sometimes, and it's like this 5 o'clock shadow sort of thing. It's a little more than a 5 o'clock shadow sometimes, but it's never like fully off your face. Don't let it get that far.
I prefer the sexy stubble look, but Cameron hates it.
I hate the feeling. You look good. I hate the feeling of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
So
It's a pretty legit
she holds me
reason.
knife point, makes me shave or else.
Yeah, exactly. No, for tea. I make you shave in exchange for Thai tea now. The knife has gone away for now.
It's like, you know,
Now
Karen's
that's a
thing.
pretty
The
good
knife is
compliment,
in the
I gotta
Thai
say.
tea.
You stir it with the
There's like
knife.
a jar of I make like jars of the Thai tea concentrate, and imagine I like put a knife in it. It's the threat. Yeah. All right. It was done good. Mars hasn't seen the newest episode from today, but she saw the other one.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
No, not yet. But soon.
But basically,
Tomorrow's Friday,
Mars,
and I can stay
mild
up till
Don to Don
Saturday the next day.
spoilers. Mild,
All right,
incredibly
I'll take
mild. The new character that was introduced at the end of the episode before today's.
Yes.
Yes, he did, Mason. He just came out and said my name.
Whoa.
He's terrible.
Dogs.
Dylan,
Yeah,
Doxson
you all
Ori
yelling at me
here.
about being doxxed, and here he is. But I don't really care that much.
And here we thought it would be one of us first.
I know. But yeah, so there's a character, and basically once we like get to meet him more, Momo goes like, "Ugh, you're so annoying," and he has a moment where he goes like, "She called me annoying," and he's like very happy about it, and I'm like, this is a Dylan line. This is a Dylan line, and so I'm like, Dylan, there's a character that says a line that I feel is very you know. So I was like, oh, you should guess what it is. And he
Oh
did
my
not guess
God.
correctly because he claims that he wouldn't say that. And I'm like, no, your goal is you like attempt to be
Bullshit.
annoying. You're not just annoying like out of consequence. You know, you put in effort to be annoying, Dylan. So have she called me annoying is very unbrand. Oh, I also
Incredibly on brand.
again, I guess still vaguely mild Don spoilers for this characterization. Not any of the plot,
Okay.
just the character, okay? Because he's a new character. I feel
so
like there
intrigued.
has to be some sort of trope with specifically the name Jin in Japanese, because I have now met 2 Jins in recent time, and they have similar vibes, and they both have like red hair, and it's like,
Interesting.
so like the Jin from Twilight Out of Focus is definitely like actually like. So he's like very suave in the classic way, right? People love him. He's very charismatic in the classic way. This guy Jin, but he's usually called Gigi or something. He's also redheaded, and he's also like a attractive like lady killer type, but he's definitely more goofy about it. But like the girls eat it up though still, right? Like they're still, but he's like definitely a little more like being, you know, don comedy goofy, you know, extreme about it. But like it's still like the through lines of just like Jin, red hair, attractive like guy, flirt, all this sort of stuff, and it's like, huh.
Sounds like a very fun dynamic.
Yeah, I think you'll find it funny, and it's okay. It's more claps for dichotomy or stens. Pat. But claps for dichotomy. Yeah, big donation. But yes, so Don episode was really good. At the end, there's like Okaruna's having like a little bit of an epiphany going on, and I'm like, so cute. It's framed really funny, right? Like the framing of it is very funny, but the tone is very serious, if that makes sense. Because how we get there,
Don pulls that off very well.
Because how we get there
so
is
I can
super
envision what
goofy,
that would look like.
right? Is super goofy, but it's like the scene is like, oh, what? Like he's realizing, and it's like really, really good. It's definitely, you know, Don has sort of those like it has like the arcs, right? So it has like the you know, it's like we fight the monster, we, you know, 2 episodes of monster related fighting, and then 1 episode of like teen angst, right? Yeah. Teen drama, and then 2 episodes of
right
fighting
now
something,
we're in the teen angst,
and then teen
in the last
drama.
episode we ended the shrimp mantis arc.
Yeah, so this one's like teen related drama right now.
Well, bring it
mostly.
on.
And then they do fight a guy. They fight someone. You know, at the end, they honestly fit a lot in this episode. It's really good though. I'm very happy with it. And I was gonna say one other thing, and I'm blanking on what it was. Hold on. Shit. Okarune's really adorable the whole time. His expressions are really, really priceless.
I need it. I need adorable Okarune, please.
Soft. He's so soft. I don't know how I feel about Gigi yet. I don't think he's like I don't think he has any bad intentions, right? But it's definitely like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy your character, because we sort of have like 2 sides. Yay! I sort of have like 2 sides of he's like 2 sides to him. This sort of like goofy, really over the top thing that to me is kind of annoying. Like it goes on too much. Like I need it to tone down, just personally.
Like kind of overdone in a way.
I wouldn't like it's just a lot, right? It's very meant to be goofy, but he's like very goofy. And I'm just like, I can't.
Okay.
I need it to not be, but then we have like a moment and he's serious and we see what like is going on in his life and stuff, and it's like, okay, you're like a cool guy, but like also like I don't know what your intentions are in saying certain things, Gigi. Like, are you just being a weirdo, or like do you feel something?
You know,
like I don't know. Do you feel some kind of way?
On.
And it's just like, why did you choose to do this? I don't understand. So yeah. But overall, great episode. I love the Okarun like arc stuff going on in it. Very fun. The teacher is like teaching in the background while we're like in Okarun's thoughts, and the what the teacher is teaching is hilarious. Like it adds to the comedy. Like it's very comedic. It adds to the comedy very, very well. It's so funny.
I can't wait to see this episode.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'm so ready. I need it.
I'm not ready for it to be over, man.
Next week.
No.
Next week is the last week.
Damn it. At least I think season 2 is confirmed.
Season 2 is confirmed, and I'm very glad for that.
Thank God.
Because I'm like, please.
I need it.
More.
I need it so bad. All right, spoilers down. But yeah, sorry guys for the change in stream content today. I basically realized that I have a lot of things that are due, like, within the next, like, less than a week.
Lori's assignments are due, and she waited until the end of semester.
I didn't wait until the end of the semester. I just had, like, daily, weekly repeating homework that kept taking priority because it was due first.
You can honestly, take the girl out of college, but you can't take the college out of the girl.
And honestly, I also decided to take on, like, club responsibilities or something that I really shouldn't have, but it didn't feel like they would be a big responsibility at the time, but now it's like, oh shit, everything is happening at the same time. Ugh. Yeah. No, we never do Outcast spoilers, man. We can't do that. That's the one thing that I'm like...
What would be the point of reading the comic if we did Outcast spoilers?
Well, I guess you could say there's quote-unquote Outcast spoilers when I reveal, like, character designs, but they're very rarely fully fully completed character designs, and...
Well, that too.
I feel like
also,
you're still gonna want to read the comic.
Character. Get hyped.
Yeah, it's not gonna, like those are not a spoiler.
Goes in with an eye patch or something, like he's gonna lose his eye in a future chapter.
Yeah, or like an arm sling or some shit, you know, like a visual nod.
A missing arm.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, wouldn't do that sort of thing. But yeah, if it's more just like, look at this new character we get to add, yay! I'm actually so close to done with this promo image. I'm so happy.
It's more of a hype than a spoiler.
It's very much a hype, not a spoiler. A hundo. Mars dares to send me fan art and then make it Outcast related.
I'm so sorry. I could not turn my brain off for that one.
You're not sorry, and I'm okay with not being sorry.
It was very good Zenless Zone Zero fan art.
English,
but then I
amazing,
started
100%.
thinking about Outcasts.
That's the good shit.
It just worked far too well.
Who's the middle character? I obviously know the outer two characters. I don't know.
The middle character is the brother. It's not Calum. That's the guy from Honkai Star Whale. Wise. The male playable character's name is Wise. So it's Billy Kid, Wise, and Lighter, which already one hell of a combo.
Yeah, that was the only one I didn't know.
But so it also works so well
usually
for
the rule of thumb is the language that you are writing in is the language you should keep everything in. I would
definitely keep it in English.
Very few people are going to
writing in English. It should be English, unless you're doing like a specific JoJo's Bizarre Adventures homage and you're using the gi or goo like background katakana. Like, unless it's an exact
most people are not gonna.
I would not use a Japanese.
Yeah, most people are not going to know what they mean.
Won't know what it means.
Yeah, and then you have to write the English anyway, and it's just not worth it.
Yeah. There are some comics where that works. Like, I've seen some comics based in Chinese culture, and they use Chinese onomatopoeia, but like,
well, yeah, but that's like a
setting.
You would be using.
It works for the world that's been created.
Don't be sorry, Mason. Don't be sorry.
That's not a sorry thing, Mason.
It's similar. Sorry. It's similar to like recommendation is usually if you're writing in English, don't make your comic right to left for some reason. You know, like there's like because
well, that's a big one. Just because
there's a difference. There's a difference between like doing it.
I took a tea break in the middle.
I
of
took
that
a
sentence.
drink because you started talking and then you stopped to let me talk, and I'm like
Well, you
mid
started talking,
sip.
so I stopped and took a drink.
Mid sip. Oh, look at us in the sink.
Well, we both mid sipped.
We both mid sipped, but there's a difference between doing it because you are specifically trying to reference something, right? Like Mars said about making like a specific anime reference, or like you change the comic style up for one panel because you're making a manga joke, right? And you like you show that as it's like, you know, we start reading here like specifically to make like some sort of joke with it or something. But like the reason they're read right to left is because the language itself is originally read right to left. You know, you're not gonna and then so when you translate it, they're not reorganizing all the panels. You can't do that. One, a lot of manga is still traditionally drawn and then scanned in, but two, you can't do that. You know, it's set up a certain way, and it's the only reason you're reading it right to left. You should not be making a English comic read right to left because you don't read English right to left. You know, it's not. It's like a weird. It's like you're trying to
It's just kind of like one of those conventions you gotta follow.
It's just
like,
very odd.
It's almost expected because it's so ingrained.
Yeah, it's just, it's one of those things that it makes it, it's already confusing if you're picking up a comic to read and it's like, wait, is this read left to right or right to left? And thankfully sometimes they tell you, but with the internet it's like, who knows sometimes. And then so adding to that where it's like, oh no, I'm an English-speaking artist that obviously speaks English that is suddenly writing a comic right to left is like, I've misread them so many times and had to go back and be like, oh no, this is read left to right. Like, you know, this is read right to left, not left to right. Like, why does it seem off, you know?
Yeah.
So,
It's
no,
like,
never be sorry for
subconsciously
asking,
it
Mason.
triggers something in your brain.
Yeah, don't be sorry for asking.
Yeah,
I
no,
just,
definitely
I know
not.
I would have no idea what this, you know, what the sound effects mean. Ugh.
It's interesting talking about style. Now, if you had a panel where one, either it was a reference to a specific anime that uses a recognizable onomatopoeia, or a manga panel that, say, someone is opened up to, then it would be appropriate because one, it either fits the joke in the first scenario or it makes sense to the context of the scene. Like they're looking at manga. There would be Japanese onomatopoeias on a manga page.
Mm-hmm. I can also see, like, so you know how Dylan in Ace Attorney will go, "Nani?" Right? Like, that could be a funny, like,
Yes.
add the kanji there, because that's, like, specifically him changing language as a joke, right? Like, that's specifically for the
It's also
bit.
universal enough, thanks to anime and manga, that people.
Well, I don't know if I would
what it
recognize the
means.
kanji without the words.
Well,
'Cause you don't-
assumably there would also be words.
Yeah.
Because onomatopoeias are sound effects paired with words.
Well, but usually, you know, when you're doing the Japanese ones, it's like they have to be translated at the little bits on the bottom, you know, and it'll be like SFX, whatever. You know, they're usually just kanji because usually sound effects are made into the art, if that makes sense, instead of over the art like speech bubbles are. And that's like a whole thing. And that's why they're not usually truly translated. And it's wild. I recently watched something about comic pet peeves or something, and someone was talking about, like, when people add, like, onomatopoeia that is, like, not onomatopoeia. So things where it's, like, stare or, like, you know, eat or things like that. And it really is just, like, a translation. Like, we don't have onomatopoeia for the sound that someone makes staring, but Japanese does, right? They're not literally saying stare, but it's like English does not have an onomatopoeia for that.
Have that kind of onomatopoeia for it.
Yeah, maybe like dun, you know, like if anything, that's the ... like an nom nom sound effect. That's like a very specific type of eating, right? And but in Japanese, a lot of times you
That's
do.
a heavy type of eating.
Yeah. So in Japanese, a lot of times you do. So it's just like very interesting to see sort of like there's a lot of it feels like in English that certain things have a lot of very extraneous sound effects. And to me, at that point, it's like those shouldn't be translated out of the characters, whatever language it is, because that's specifically showing that it's not exactly what you're thinking. Because if you put like the menacing kanji, right? I don't know how that ended up. I don't know where I'm starting, Mason. Do you have any other landmarks of where I cut out?
Stream crashed.
I think it was
When
just
did
for
that
them.
happen?
But do you have any landmarks of where I cut off? What was I saying?
Yeah, what was the last thing you remember Ori saying?
I have no concept of time during stream.
Also, when
I think
there's
it
a
was
ramp,
just
like,
on your
you
end,
just
Mason.
go and-
I
Yeah,
think it was just on your
I got
end.
it open. It didn't crash for me. I've been watching the whole time.
No, it was just on your end, Mason. Sorry to hear.
Sorry about that.
No idea. All right. Basically, in Japanese, and I think other languages too. Like I think Korean and Chinese, have it as well. They have like
Just have more words.
they
for
have more
onomatopoeias
onomatopoeia,
that
right? So
English
there's
just doesn't have.
more things with sound effects that we don't have, and a big one is stare, right? Turn.
Yeah.
And,
I think in Japanese it's jiro, if I remember correctly. Jiro.
to stare.
I think jiru is to stare.
But even like
Let me
menacing,
check.
right? Menacing is not a sound effect in English, right? Like that's not a menacing sound.
Yeah. So the manga onomatopoeia for staring is G.
Yeah. We don't have anything like that.
Jiru.
And so when they like translate it into English in a lot of like webtoon and like straight webcomic official manga, comics and stuff, because it's digital, they change the kanji or any other characters that they were into English words. But it feels very weird and like I can see the character staring. Why do you need to tell me? Right? Like why do like it feels very odd and for some
that would
people
be the equivalent of the ... in English.
yeah. Which would not take you out of the
English,
thing.
The ... is more used not to show that someone is staring. It's more used to show that someone is pausing.
Yeah, a long pause. Yeah. Like an extra pause. There's specifically dead air.
A noticeable pause.
A noticeable pause. But so it's like I feel like sometimes I would say that like either don't translate the kanji or the hangul, whatever it is at all, and just write the like little translation note, because that would feel less
which most
invasive.
manga does do, which is nice.
Most manga does, but I find it with like web comics they don't, because they have the physical capability to do it, versus like manga can't, because it's like already drawn and it's part of the art, so it's hard to like erase and add new words, versus in like web comics, because you have layers and it's digital, you can do that, and so they try to do it and it's very odd. But I also feel like that just if you had a translation team that really knew what they were doing, you could add viable sound effects, right? Like turn.
I feel like you could.
Turn
But
is not a sound effect.
This is interesting, and
but like swish.
I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but it's still related to onomatopoeias. Is that, Ori, you watched The Royal Tutor.
Yes.
And you watched it, I think you saw it in Japanese and English.
So I saw it in
One of
English
the-
before the movie. I saw it in English, and then the movie I saw in Japanese.
So I'm very curious about this, because part of the comedy with Hein, their teacher, one, he is small, so he's like, he can slip by and like get away from situations very quickly, very agile. But part of his humor is that he will say the onomatopoeia. He'll be like, roll, 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 hide, hide,
Yes.
hide, hide, hide.
Which he
As,
does
like-
say in English.
He does say that in
But
English.
I think that works
But that's a very,
comically.
like, not English thing to do.
No. But I think it works comically because as a comedic effect specifically, because the whole point is
As a
it
comedic
is
effect,
taking you
that
out of
ties
it.
into like we don't use it in
Right.
English.
But it is
This is not how we
specifically
use onomatopoeias.
See, I didn't register it as onomatopoeia immediately, like, because I understand, like, Japanese media and how that works, that I realized that is what he was doing. But otherwise, it just sounds like a funny, like, sneak, 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 sneak. You know, kind of like how Kronk is singing his own, you know, spy music, right? Like, it's specifically they're being ridiculous. So I didn't even clock it originally as being, like, weird, because him
really
basically
interesting.
narrating what he was doing was still something that I have seen as jokes in English, right? You could
That's
very much
interesting that you
see-
took it that way.
Yeah, because imagine, you could totally, in English, you know, primary Western cartoon, you could very much see, like, oh, what was it? In Adventure Time, there's a character, his name is Nepter, and he's a robot, and basically in the episode, he's brand new to life. He's basically just born. Finn is trying to sneak around the Ice King's castle, and Nepter's with him. And Finn is like, all right, we're gonna sneak. And while Finn is sneaking, Nepter goes, sneaking, sneaking. And Finn is like, shut up, Nepter, shh, we need to be quiet. We're saying, sneaking, sneaking. That's the joke, right? And it's like, I don't know if that's supposed to be a reference, you know, or anything, but it's something
Well, I feel
that happens.
like the joke there is like he doesn't know how to do this,
Yeah.
and he's doing it wrong, and he's in
No,
the way
it's
he's doing
definitely-
it is going to get them caught.
100%. It's going against the object of what is happening. But things like that made me not even question what Heino was doing, because it was still that sort of comedy, right?
That is very
like
interesting.
versus like instead it would have been weirder for me personally if they were actual onomatopoeia that he was saying. That would have been weirder in English, I think. If he specifically went like I'm trying to think of a good
tiptoe.
No, see, tiptoe would have been fine, because
even
that's
that's
still an
not an
action.
onomatopoeia.
Right, that's still like an action. I'm trying to think of something that's specifically like a... Nah, I guess maybe it wouldn't have been weird. It would have been a
What's,
different kind of comedy, though. If he, like,
sneaking?
when he was fighting, right? If he was fighting and he went, like, wham, pow, you know, bap. Like, that would be a different kind of joke. You know?
Okay, the sound of small footsteps. Well, someone said whoosh, pitter patter.
Pitter patter, pitter patter.
So if he went like pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter
That'd
patter,
be weird. That'd be weird.
that would be noticeable.
Right, that would be weird. I would clock that right away. That'd be
Because that
very
would just
odd.
stand out. That's just not how we use that.
Yeah. And so that would have made it weird. I'm sorry, I just have to talk about this because every time onomatopoeia comes up, I always think of this. This is like,
Please
again,
do.
a decade old or something, but if anybody remembers Dan's Not on Fire and Phil, I can't remember his full handle, but yeah, Dan and Phil. There was an episode of their little collab thing that they did, the Phil's Not on Fire thing, and they were talking about like, what's your favorite onomatopoeia? And Dan goes, microwave, and Phil's like, that's not onomatopoeia. And Dan's like, yeah, it is microwave. And Phil's like, the microwave does not make any noise that sounds like microwave. Like, that's not onomatopoeia, Dan. This went on for a little bit, and I can't get over the onomatopoeia microwave.
Was he just
Not a
shitting
thing.
him, or was he like, no, I've seen microwave in a comic before.
It's just like not fully grasping what onomatopoeia is meant to be.
Oh,
right?
okay.
It's just like not like how tiptoe isn't
What did
onomatopoeia,
he think
but
an
like
onomatopoeia was?
yeah, it goes or bzz, you know, like there's no vowels in the sound of microwave makes, but it's just very, very funny to me.
And if your microwave is making vowels, you should probably get a new one.
Yeah, wah, wah. Your microwave's screaming at you.
Whoa!
Mm.
Whoa!
But yeah, so for Heine's specific type of
That's
comedy,
the
it
name
worked
mine made
very
before
well.
it melted.
Oh God,
Did I ever share that story?
I think you did, yeah. When it happened,
I must have.
I'm pretty sure. It sounds familiar.
That was while I was watching Link Click episode 1.
Then yes,
season
you
1 too.
definitely, yeah, you definitely
I was like in
did.
the middle of it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm hungry. I'm gonna venture out for a snack. Freaking smoke billowing from the kitchen. Beyond burnt potato that is beyond this realm. It's not even in the land of the dead. It's so far gone.
Oh god.
And a melted microwave.
Ay.
Never a dull moment around here.
Nope. Oh. Yeah, so no. Look at that, Mason. Your question spread a whole topic of onomatopoeia. That's the stuff we love around here. That's the
Absolutely. It
stuff.
gives us something to talk about.
I also will say, I'm very proud. I upgraded my feather game, my wing game more than feathers. Because I always struggle a little bit with how Aster's, like, wings, feathers curve when they're, like, folded up. It's always, like, kind of wonky. And so I sat down and I took the time to look at a bunch of diagrams and I fucking nailed it now.
Noise.
Now it's real nice and real. Yes, that's why I specifically see, Mason. That's why I specifically added this is the kind of stuff we love. I knew I clocked it. I knew what you're gonna do. I was like, no, Mason, I want to appreciate it. We like being given topics to rant about.
There's no need to apologize.
We enjoy, basically, Mason, every stream but Ace Attorney is specifically, this is for Ori and Mars to rant about whatever the fuck. So, you know, given topics
if
is
chat
great.
Just happens to have a topic for us, we're all for it.
Well, I try to be slightly more on topic with Ace Attorney. I mean, it's inevitable. I'm waiting for the fucking Von Karma Batman conversation that is in the next game that we do. Or is it in this game? I don't even know. But that happens at some point. And it'll unfortunately have to be left in with way too much art from Ori because it's too good. But
it won't get cut at all.
No, it won't get cut because it needs it. It has too much good thumbnail fodder, and like it's just too good. I do take some of our tangents I have cut out if they're like really random and not particularly funny. But Von Car or Ace Attorney related in any way. But the Von Karmas and the Batman stuff, gotta stay in.
It's just a wild concept.
I guess usually the only stuff I'll cut out rant-wise from Ace Attorney is when it like pops up kind of out of nowhere and the context is like all in chat and then we just say something that's like not just one chat message related. It's like a bunch. It's like, I'll cut that out. But no, our streams are chaotic.
That they are. But we wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh no. I can't be a streamer that puts in much more work, guys. I gotta tell you. Ori does not have the time or mental fortitude.
Honestly, we are lucky to be as organized as we are.
I strive for organization. I try very hard. I always feel bad when I don't put stream, schedule out until like Tuesday before stream. I'm always like, oh no, I've failed.
Hi guys, by the way.
Stream tonight, it's still happening. I didn't forget.
There you are, Ferret.
Stuff.
My boy.
Too much stuff to do. But we get Ace
tell me
Attorney
about it.
tomorrow. Oh
Yay.
shit.
Oh, I forgot to invert this. That's why it's not doing the thing I need.
That means I have to draw new avatar costumes for the next week.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's okay.
Wait, so I get to have multiple outfits in this game? Or am
No.
I constantly Fender Man?
No, you're constantly Eddie Fender. No, I'm saying that after this week, the next week, you and I are playing a different game. Dylan's away.
That's right. I forgot.
So I have to draw the new game's avatar outfits.
I completely forgot. Ooh, you know what game I just found out is on sale?
What game?
The oh crap, what was it called? I remember. Mars remembers. What the hell was it called?
Does Mars
The
remembers?
Cruel King and the Great Hero. It's made by the same people who did The Liar Princess.
Oh.
The blind prince and the liar princess.
Yeah.
It's got that cute little chibi storybook-esque style. I am so excited.
Nice.
It's like on a 55% off sale, and I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah, that was me. I'm like, oh, I'm getting all this stuff. I don't know what we'll do if we finish it significantly before stream is over, but
This ear was supposed to be connected.
we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there.
I have some ideas, but I'm not sure.
All in due time.
All in due time, indeed.
Nope.
But we also
when we get there.
see I'm like scheduling pretty far out now because of Dylan's wonky schedule. So in my head, I have like a lot of things like, ooh, we have another Pass to Smash coming up, and like, ooh, we have all these other things happening. But then I sit there and I think it's like,
actually get to be
Ori,
a part
that's
of
like a
this
month
Pass to
away.
Smash. I won't just be in chat.
Yeah. But in my head, I'm like, Ori, that's like over a month away. You don't need to be hyping this shit up. The thing you do need to be hyping up is, hi, Allie, welcome.
Allie.
Next week, this
So
stream.
glad you could join.
Next week, we are doing, well, I say we, but I mean, Mars will be here, but Ori is doing a art request gift giveaway where if you are followed or subscribed, you can get a little free 5-minute doodle.
This panel, we'll be able to show off what those
Get
could
an
potentially
example.
look like.
And, yep, of any character of your choice, as long as there's a visual reference. So it could be an
Just needs
original
to have a
character,
reference.
it could be from, a podcast, it could be from an anime, a manga, a webcomic, a novel, as long as there is some
Video game.
a movie, as long as there's some visual reference of the character or you can base it off of, because 5 minutes.
If it's a real person, wish Ori luck.
Yeah, I will say, real people will be more difficult. There's no question about that. But, she'll try. I'll try. Sometimes they come together easy, sometimes they don't. That was something where I really felt like I had an art style, was when I was like, oh, I can translate a real person into my art style. Or I can translate a very non-my art style person into my art style. Hi, Randy.
Hello, Randy. Are you Rando?
Oh, no, I'm saying Randy Cunningham was the character I felt that I could do that with first.
Oh!
He was not my style at all, but I did him in my style, and he came out really good.
I am not looking at chat right now because I'm trying to get this panel done.
I was making a joke.
That's why I was gonna be like, Rando, that's not one of your more creative names. I gotta be honest.
Talking about random before they're even here.
Well, I think I just summoned them.
That might be a making time. I might do wing studies with Aster at some point.
That would be really fun. I think that's something people would want to see too.
Allie,
I mean, you tell us, chat. Would you love to see Ori break down the complexities of wings?
Also, Allie, your existence has reminded me it was you who talked about saying, oh, these hairstyles are so complex you can't even draw the same character twice or something, right? Was that you? Because I wanted to say something and I completely forgot because stream was it was late and stream was ending. Because if it was you, I have things to say. But otherwise, I was saying something before that. Wings. Yeah, I had a wing level up because I always find the bent closed wing. It was you, Allie. Okay. Because I want to say something. And that is, so the anime characters, they have a lot of stuff, but an example of something, if you do ever have the desire, and it's fine if you don't have this desire, but if you have the desire, I was going to talk about drawing real people, so we'll get to that next. Remind me, chat and Mars, after this topic, I want to talk about drawing real people, but in your style, basically. But so if you have the desire to draw characters again and again and again with a level of consistency, I think there are a few things that you can do to make it much easier on yourself. One is, don't be a hero about the fucking anime style. Make them simple, okay? Make them simple. Take your character design, and if you make your character you like, try to draw them from memory. And any details that you struggle with, so, after you've drawn the character a few times with the reference, draw them without reference. And any details that you forget, that you mess up, that you do whatever, are ones that are problems that you should change, right? So it's like, in very early concepts of Outcast, Hotson had more buttons and ties and stuff on his jacket.
Had so many more
But
buttons.
I kept not drawing them when I was drawing him. Yes. And so I removed them. Yeah, exactly, Allie. So there is something I do plan on doing, because we have some characters coming up that I will have to be drawing more often, is doing something what I'm going to call settling a character. Okay, and now this is something that in best practice, and again, this is me saying best practice because Ori does not do best practice all the time. She tries sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't happen. But in best practice, you take a character for like a comic or an animation or, any repeatable thing, and you draw them a lot before you're even drawing them officially for the thing you were doing, the animation, the comic, the whatever. And the reason for this is because you need the character to settle. And no matter what your character design is, it's going to be not right, if that makes any sense. It's not going to be exactly how you draw it every time. And so after you continuously draw the character, one, you iron out these little details that you constantly forget that are thus, one, not important, or two, if they are important, say there's like a medal, they need to be changed so that you do remember them and find them easy to do. If there is a part of the character that you struggle with all the time, change it. You should change it, and you should make it something like you don't struggle with. Hello, Jester. Been a while. How you been?
Hey, Jester. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. It's promotion for our comic coming out of hiatus.
Yes.
But and so this is drawing them without reference. This is even drawing them with reference, this settling portion, but it allows you to sort of get a hang of the character sort of before really trying to be consistent with them. I'm gonna show really early Hotson art or Milano art because they are very different. And part of that is I've improved since then because it's like 4 years ago, but another part of it is just settling, into sort of how you get to draw them. Because even like Sinet and Aster and Ferrix are tweaked from very early ones. You can find very early in the comic, I would struggle with drawing those three boys. Now it's like the back of my hand. But it is sort of like...
that practice certainly helps.
Yeah, the practice helps, but it is, you do need to sort of let it settle, right? Because if you're going to be drawing this character over and over and over and over and over again, whether it's just because you want this character to be a character that you can doodle all the time just for fun, or because you want this character to be part of any sort of sequential art where you do have to redraw them a bunch, having a character that feels good to draw and is not a fight to draw is the way to do it. Now, obviously, if you like always struggle with hair, you don't have to make your character bald or something, but you should get down drawing this one character's hairstyle. Oh, welcome for the raid.
Raid.
Hello. We're talking about
Rage Paint Games.
making characters that you could redraw a lot. I lost my train of thought.
Yes.
It is Totson. That's what I was looking up.
It's simplifying your characters to the details that matter.
the details that matter, and drawing your character enough before official stuff has to happen that you can sort of settle into a vibe with how you can do it.
Practice is the name of the game.
Everett changes vibe a fair amount, and he's gonna need a bit where he settles. So this one is not the oldest one.
Like the Everett that's settled the most is the Band-Aid Everett.
It is. He's closest. He needs to settle more before I want to do the comic, so I am going to do a thing because I have to draw him in a lot of poses that are not going to be fun necessarily. So I do want, exactly, Allie. So, and the way to do it is don't be afraid to do reference.
Thanks, Rage Pain.
It's a good time to start reading. You'll get caught up, and then in a month, literally in like a month from tomorrow,
back from hiatus.
Literally a month from tomorrow, we come back out of hiatus. So this is the time to catch up. But this is very early Hotson design, and this isn't even the earliest concept art of him. But this is very, very early design. You can see he has more buttons. You can see sort of just how I draw his pants ruffles, and all the ruffles are a little different. His hair floof is different. Even his like hairline is different. The size of his ahoge is different. Even his book has, more detailing on it that I lost, right? And now I actually have most recent Hotson, which we can see right here. Now we have, he's dark because he's in shading, but now you can see the difference. We lost all those extra buttons. I don't have his book in here, but like his hair is very different. I think that's very, very biggest thing between these two. His hair is very, very different in the floof area of it. And part of this is growing as an artist, but part of it is settling into a point where I like how he looks and I like drawing it and it's consistent. In very early original comic pages, I actually accidentally kept switching which way this front bang piece curved.
It flopped all over the damn place.
Very weirdly. Yeah, it constantly flipped back and forth. And now I will say, I do fudge it. Okay, so like when a character is in like a side profile, I will fudge with way the hair curves. That's something you're allowed to do and able to do with like 2D art and stuff, and many things do that. But that's with purpose. Well, yeah, he was never confident really in the first place. This is a false facade. But even in his like,
is all an act.
But even his like, so this is his official, this is the closest sort of like comparison. We have this book, Hotson, and then this is his official reference sheet. So we lost all the coat buttons. Okay, how I draw the ruffles is different. His glove has a ruffle in it, so that you can see here. You can't really see it even if you did have it here. We definitely don't have
little shoulder pieces.
Yeah, I kept the little shoulder pieces. I do like that. It feels like the coat is real when you have those, because trench coats usually have that. He has a lot more ruffles in his things. Yeah, so Rage, a lot of people do flip the hair, but there's a difference between like here and then randomly in this exact same pose, this hair piece goes the other way for literally no like there's no wind. I just fucked it up. Like I just forgot and did it wrong. And then there's a difference between like I'm purposefully, at an angle where it would look weirder if I drew it accurately and not if I fudged it. Like this, like Sinet's hair. Let's see if I can grab the Sinet reference real quick. Sinet's hair is a good one. Oh, I wonder. I actually have the Sinet hair reference I drew for Mars. So, you can see here, so all of his bang pieces kind of swoop over. But in this one, they kind of curve back around, even though they wouldn't do that. That is an aesthetic choice, because I feel like when it's just like swoopy out, it looks weird to me personally. Yeah, this was for the hair stripes. So this was important because Sinnett only has the hair stripes on these specific pieces. So when he rotates his hair, he doesn't always have them because those pieces of hair don't exist. But like, this is like the official Sinnett reference and everything. But the hair swoopies are specific. And then, yeah, you can see this hair piece here wouldn't always swoop around mathematically. But I do. Same with, I move where the hair parts. So you can see it. It's on his right side here, but here it's like in the back. That's a thing I've always done. That's a preference of just how I like to draw. I'm not trying to make them realistic. It will be interesting for when I attempt to 3D model them eventually, but fudging happens a lot in 2D animation and everything. Feel like you're gonna like Sinnett the most? Where are you at, Rage? Where are you at?
I'm excited for you to get to the hangout arc with Sinnett. If that's the case.
I'll be very curious. If I'm being honest, I felt like my vote, at least from my understanding of cadence, I thought my vote for you would have been Ferrix, but we'll see. We shall see. But do I have an early Sinnett? Not an early enough Sinnett. Where's the original cast?
I don't know if we have too many early Sinnetts. They might be like in the comic itself.
Yeah, hold on. I think... Yeah, but you can definitely see, even with what is up on the comic, if you go back to like the early pieces, you can very much see the difference between... Oh, here we go. So this is the
days.
oldest time where all the cast existed at once. So these are not the earliest iterations of Milano and Hodson, but these are the earliest iterations of Ferrix and Sinnett and Aster. His wings changed a lot. Aster's wings.
His wings
it's probably the
changed
biggest
so much.
one.
I gotta say, nowadays they went from big plumed, like,
they got more
pillows
realistic. Yeah.
to feathers.
They got more realistic a lot. But so these are the original, these were when we actually started like posting comic stuff, this is what the official references looked like. And then this is now the most recent lineup of everybody. So definitely the art itself has improved.
Okay.
There's no question there. But you can definitely see like how his wings changed. He has like more tiers of feathers and stuff. You know, Milano has a lot more scales going on and things.
The one big thing I remember about Sinnett is he used to have a sun pouch hanging off his belt with like a sun design on it.
Yeah, you can kind of see it here.
Thing was hell to color.
Yeah, this was
glad we removed it.
Never going to be with the design on it, but we removed it out of, he doesn't even have the pouch anymore. So it is just, it's like a pocket. It's basically an old-fashioned pocket. Ferrix had 4 bags with straps. Now, to simplify it, he only has 2. That was a big thing that was struggled with. Those are like the super big. You can see definitely like small differences in how the hairs all are.
Milano's shirt got untucked, I think.
Yeah, it did. Milano had a tucked in shirt. He no longer has a tucked in shirt. Yeah, so there's a lot of things like that. Well, and that too, Allie, and you really get like to nail down exactly how everybody feels and how everybody should be. And so now in the comic, because we did want to get going first, and you know, obviously you learn as you go, you know, this is always a hobby for Mars and I. We're not trying to like make it a whole you know, career or anything like that. So we are learning as we go. So when you do go back to the earlier episodes of the comic, you could very much see like Ferrix settle, Aster settle, Sinnett settle. There's actually like
definitely by the hangout arcs, I feel.
Definitely by the hangout arcs, and during the hangout arcs is where they're really like, this is this character now.
Yeah.
Because I finally draw them a lot. But I was doing most of the sort of character
Mostly
settling
because
on
Mars
the
wrote
fly.
it in a big chunk where Ori had to draw the character over and
Yeah,
over.
but a lot of the character settling happened on the fly, and so now after having all of that and after having everybody settled, this is where we are, and so that's just sort of how that worked out. But in best practice, like I said, the more you draw a character, the more they're gonna settle first, and I do hope to do that a little more preemptively with characters we are going to introduce now in the comic. It also just makes life easier because you're just more comfortable with drawing them in weird positions and weird poses and everything like that.
Holly asks a very interesting question.
Yes.
How would you try and add detail to a character? If you
So,
feel they don't have enough details, what do you think people could add without being too much for the artist?
so I would say that a big thing. Let me try to reopen this. Hold on. Here they are. So a big thing is shapes. So recently in like crit bits sort of thing, and I will say innately as a person, I do a lot of these things sort of like without thinking, and then when like listening to people talk about them, it's like, oh yeah, I can see the through lines, right? And so something that this artist that I follow, Critbit, in their class that I did, that I'm doing still, they talk about having, if you want characters to seem like they are part of a group together or they are from the same thing, you want them to have repeating shapes or things, right? So sort of a through line that I have is you have this sort of, again, these are not the exact same colors for all these leathers, but they are very similar, and it's all these like sort of belt straps that puts them all in the same timeline, right? Having this sort of like the little fly bit, that's like a same timeline thing. Having the buttons, a lot of them have these little buttons, right? That puts everybody together. And then you also have these sort of like cord ties, right? This is like putting everybody in similar. And also the lapel, that's another repeating shape. So adding little things like that give this sort of like, they're not identical, but they're a repeating shape. And it's to help sell, without lack of a better term, like the realism of it.
Believability.
Right? Yeah. So with the reason
Continuity.
that this arm strappy thing that Hotson has is very important to me is because it helps denote the type of coat he is wearing. It helps differentiate him from the vests of everybody else, right? He specifically has a sort of trench coat-esque jacket.
Ooh.
Now,
Wait,
yeah.
Ori, I am very curious. Do you still have Ferrex's
I do
design
not
that we
have.
vetoed?
No, I do not.
Because that would be interesting to show. Because I almost feel like that went too simplistic in the other direction.
Yeah, I do not have that.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, I think that's in a... Yeah, I don't know where that would even be. 'Cause I'm trying to think of what... Yeah. I'm not sure where it would be. Yeah, so give more of the world, exactly. And so, like, I would say, like... So the reason that, like, Sinnett has freckles is because he has this shark speckled patterning on the type of shark that he is. So I wanted to bring that into his face and everything. He has these spots as a shark. He would have the human equivalent of spots is freckles, right? Having like specifically the closures. How does the shirt close? How does the belt close, right? A big one is adding belts and straps. That always just makes something look more complex. Don't go over the top. Remember, if you can't easily replicate how it looks every time and they're always flipping around, you've done too much, right? But easily having these 1-2 leg straps on Ferrex gives him a lot more than if he didn't have them. It'd be kind of weird. Can I? I think I can show that, actually. Hold on. Yeah. because they're paper dolls. So I don't know if I made his things with his pants or not. That's the sole question.
Oh, let's see.
Oh no, they're separate.
Maybe we're lucky.
So you can see here, so Ferrex has these hip bags, okay? This is because, one, he's the carpenter, so he would want to have pouches to hold tools and nails and all these other sort of things. And now this specific under the leg strap is because, one, the functionality of he likes to hang upside down, he likes to be upside down, would mean that his bags would constantly be like flipping over, you know, and be annoying to get to, and he would, you know, all this sort of stuff. So this keeps them down and against him and not flopping around. But the other thing is this alludes to a tree climbing harness. Okay, so a tree climbing harness comes under your thighs like this as well, and because he is a arboreal species, the fossa, it gives to that. Now, if you see him, his design is not overly complex, okay? He has the shirt thing, he has the undershirt, and he has these shorts that are honestly very plain compared to a lot of the other characters' pants. But adding these little pouches really gives a lot of intrigue. It gives this nice V shape to him, which is repeated in the sort of flaps of the pouch here.
The shirt.
The pouch. Yeah, and the shirt. There you go. See? These are all things that I didn't do, like, sitting there like, I'm going to make a V shape. These are things that Ori is, like, realizing when I look at it.
This happens to really work out.
But then you take away the belts, and he looks very boring. He looks very plain. He's much more plain now. He's wearing, like, a pantsuit. You know, this is much more plain.
Where's the intrigue?
Where, you know, he's just wearing green. It's all green. There's no other sort of color besides him.
There's no other color
so
to
it does
break
stand
it
out.
up.
But this is definitely like very simple. This one little addition of this little belt strap. Oh wow, he's got something more going on. It changes his silhouette as well. You know, you can see that with this white outline. You can see these big bulges, you know, that go away and everything. Yes, exactly, Allie. The color of the bag helps break up the green, and because I specifically made it very similar, this is like the color of leather in the world, right? Is this kind of reddish
Hotun's
color?
bag is the
So
same
Hotun's
color.
bag, the cover of his book, Sinet's belt. No spoilers design, but Milano gets a belt for port outfit stuff. So there's a lot of interesting stuff that goes on there. But that's like a big thing.
That's the fun part about Allie. And one item can tell you more about a character as well, because now we know, like, the harnesses allude to being a tree arborist, and he's a tree species.
Exactly. So
he's a handyman.
So
he
putting
hangs
in-
upside down while fixing everything. So it's like all these different elements you can play with when it comes to
putting in detail
design.
that gives you to allude to the character. Also, another quick thing about Ferrex is I liked giving him this baggy shirt. And again, this is not something that I would say I innately thought about, but it is something that assists. And the fact is that because this shirt is baggy and off the shoulder, when he's upside down with it on, it's very obvious that he is upside down and not right side up,
yeah.
right? While I also
Which has
put his
been
hair
very
flop
fun to
upside
color, I
down,
must say.
but when he is upside down, it is very obvious that he's upside down. So Sinet, again, this belt is an important thing. We have this triangle sort of vibe going on again. That sort of happens here. I would say Sinet, most of his detail definitely comes from his shark features, because there's a lot going on there. So you don't want him to be too crazy. He has a lot more shapes than all that stuff going on. You know, he does have this X. This is for functionality, because how does he wear a belt when he has a tail that comes out of, like, mid-back with the fin? He couldn't really do that. So, it comes up and it straps around. Things like that. Having the rolled sleeves versus, you know, those are all things to do. I like having these two little buttons. They're gold. They stand out, but they don't, like, overpower in any way, you know, but they're a little bit there that kind of brings your eye through the piece, in my opinion.
And he has a lot of shapes going on too. Like his fins, you got all those triangle features, and his
then the
upper
spots.
smock is also a triangle.
Exactly.
So that shape carries throughout the design.
Exactly. So you can see there are a lot of triangles in my character designs. We have all these triangles in Ferrex. You know, even his ears could be considered in that triangle general shape. You have all the
definitely.
lapels are triangles, all the V-necks are triangles. You have triangles, you know, here. You even have triangles in Hotzen's thing, and his book has the triangle little flap.
You got the hoodie
and his bag
strings
has a flap.
that carry through Milano and Ferrex, kind of showing a connection between them.
Exactly. And then you have, there's a lot of triangles that show up in Aster. Honestly, you see them more on his back. But
Yeah, let's see if we
Aster,
can pull up Aster's for a second. It would be interesting. Can we remove Aster's vest?
yeah, we can. As long as it just loads in, please. There we go. So you can see in his back, that's one big triangle on how that's to accommodate wings, though that's why I specifically did it this way. Why he has like a halter top going on is specifically to accommodate his wings. And so, but you can even see here, like there's triangles in how his shirt works. If we remove the vest,
And how it's framed.
you can see in the front.
That triangle on the shirt matches the triangle that's formed with his tail.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have the vest, it just looks kind of odd.
But it is still, there's a triangle and everything, you know? There's still the triangles. The vest adds the buttons that ties him to everybody else, right? There's no buttons without the vest. If you take away the shirt, then he's, you know, a little bland. Where are his triangles? You know, the tail is one, but you don't see that enough. You don't see his triangles. You don't break up this shape. His wings being especially solid black on the back, you really need to break that up somehow. So adding a little thing there helps. That's why it's this very pale yellow. He does look naked without the vest.
He does look very naked without
a bunch of stuff.
Especially from the back.
That is kind of the point, though. You know? And so that is something interesting that sort of then has to be a through line when you do their other outfits. If we want to change their outfits and have port outfits and all these other sort of things. They're interesting to look at.
And we do want port outfits, but those are surprises.
They will come. Yeah. They will come. You can really quickly see, though, so for Ace Attorney AU, he hasn't come up yet as a character, but this is Aster's, this is an old paper doll for him, but this is Aster's, like, general concept design for the AU. But you can see we sort of get that strappy look again because he has suspenders. And we get the V's here, similar to how we see him on him, you know? Honestly, this duster should be a V, which it probably will be, but you still have sort of the pointy down here, all this sort of stuff. So, yeah. There's the points in the tie. So what I would really think about, what I do, Allie, is when I add detail, I basically think about what is the purpose of the thing and how do they work. I'm sorry, dichotomy. So how everything would work, right? I would take a lot of reference from, so while Outcast doesn't have a specific time period, it is definitely inspired by a specific aesthetic, right? Like a Ren Fair. I would say Outcast has a Ren Fair aesthetic.
That feels right.
I think because Ren Fair is also specifically technically timeless in a weird way. So Outcast has a Ren Fair aesthetic to its clothing, and so it's definitely in this, like, it feels an old-fashioned kind of way, but not necessarily from a specific time period. But looking up references, so Sinet's little collar V thing is specifically from a historic nurse outfit. And that ties into what his background is and him being the medic and everything like that. So that's historic there. This, like, tie that happens, that's historic as well. Think about it. That's a big thing to think about. There's a lot of buttons and there's a lot of things and there's a lot of ties because they didn't have stuff like elastic. So if something was to cinch around something, like here, it would have to have a button. You see it on Sinet, it has to have a button. You know, they all have buttons, right? And that's how they would have to work because they don't have elastic. You have to have these clasps, you have to have these ties, and all this sort of stuff. So those little details were born of the fact that that is how that would have to work to sell sort of the aesthetic that we put Outcast in.
And those choices help the world feel more realistic.
Yeah, and
too.
that adds to the details that you have. All right. The second thing I wanted to talk about. Now, please, of course, if you still have questions about this, and you still have questions, like any questions, don't feel afraid to put it in chat, even though I'm not talking about it now.
Please ask whatever you like. Today is a free-for-all night, honestly.
Yeah. I love answering questions about this. Like this is, I never know what to talk about, so I love getting to answer people's questions. But so
it's like, because sometimes with like writing and art, it's like, I don't know how I learned to do this. I just learned that this is what works, and I know the theory behind why it works, but can I teach you how to do it?
See, that's what's
debatable.
really interesting to me, Mars, right? Because that's what I say a lot, right? I'm a self-taught artist. I have taken like an odd art class here or there, an online course here or there that do teach certain tips and tricks, but I never went to an art school, and I never did like a full art school related course or anything like that. A lot of this is from seeing shows and, listening to videos and stuff. But when I'm actually doing a lot of it, because I'm not attempting to be a professional artist, I will say I do go a lot off of vibe, okay? But knowing those things from watching the videos, being intrigued about color theory, or watching the videos being intrigued about character design are in there for me. Right? That stuff is obviously
definitely
in my head.
Like, it's always in the back of your mind,
You're
like
just
what
not...
you watch, and it's like...
And I think that's important.
You subconsciously do it.
Yeah, and I think that's important to think about. Like, a big thing people talk about, especially in Western animation over, like, anime and stuff, is, like, silhouettes. Okay? That's something that... if you struggle and you specifically want to improve, then focus on it. But I will say, to me it was, I wanted the characters to be diverse, and having the animal part of it, they made very compelling silhouettes, okay? I don't think you would confuse any of my characters for another character. And that was not born of the effort of making a striking silhouette, like how it feels like when you listen to somebody talk about a video like that. That was born of the effect of me. I didn't want the characters to have the same hair. I didn't want the characters to have the same eyes. I didn't want the characters to be the same height. The fact that they have animal bits.
Different route, same destination.
Yeah, you end up in the same place because you specifically don't want your characters to be samey, and it turns out, that also adds to silhouette, and you just, to come there. Same with like this shape thing. I never thought about this like repeating shape thing until I'm taking this cryptic course, right? And that's what they talk about a lot. It's a whole piece where it's like, oh yeah, repeating shape. This character has all these triangles and this, and then if you want characters to feel cohesive in the same world, they have to have these repeating shapes across each other, or these repeating items like the bags, right? For me, it's like the straps or whatever, and things like that. While I didn't sit there and think, okay, everybody needs to have some sort of unifying feature, it came out of the fact that they needed to be existing in the same aesthetic, and thus it sort of just came to be that those aesthetics have lots of triangles, or the functionality makes lots of triangles, or the functionality makes, bag straps. And then me thinking about the world of like, okay, if they have leather, there would be like a leather color depending on what the animal is, and because they don't have normal world animals like us, that color of leather could be slightly different than our color of leather. So it is. That's why it's kind of red compared to a lot of leather. And those are sort of things where now getting to look back after learning these rules is like, oh wow, I did that. How cool of me. But I definitely is like, I probably heard about that somewhere, or I probably noticed it from like enjoying Avatar: The Last Airbender, or etc. Pieces of media that is good. There's a lot of stuff, especially, and I will say, all of this information that I give at any point in time is for hobby artists, okay? It's for hobbyists of craft in general. I have no intention of being a professional artist. So take this with a grain of salt if that is your goal. There's a lot more work that goes into that, I know. Being a professional character designer does have a lot more intention to my understanding than the sort of shit that I go about. I just want to make characters that I enjoy drawing and think are cool. And it is important to me that they are differentiable. I've said this before, but I'll always bring it up because we do have new people around. Very early in when we were doing the comic, I don't think we didn't even launch the comic yet. Mars was working a retail job, and she showed her coworker, right? It was your coworker.
No.
Oh no.
No, I didn't.
I always mix this up.
If this is the story you're thinking
I think
of,
it is.
It was my friend's sister who was also interested in making a comic.
Ah. So did that, and then that person went, how do you tell the difference? They all look the same. And Mars was very offended on my behalf.
I went to bat for Ori on that one.
Because I was very offended, because I specifically
was very offended
like
for
that
you.
was an intentional thing that I specifically made the hair different, the head shape different, the eyes different. Like that was like I took pride in my ability to do that. And Mars was telling me the story, and I'm like, oh, what?
Shot through the heart.
Yeah,
and
really.
you're to blame.
And I'm to blame. So far, she's been the only one,
I'm not friends
though.
with them anymore. I'm
But
kidding.
it's yeah. But I was very funny when I was like,
Darren
oh no. Oh yeah. So a lot of my character design has come out of the fact that like I do want to draw people like people, you know, who have different things and don't all look the same, you know, and in my style, you know, because it depends on the style. If you have the style with the dot eyes, you know, there's only so much you can do for eye shape, right? But if you have a style... See, and Allie, and that's why you get yourself a Mars. I always, you know, we're not sponsored by Mars, but, you know, we always promote the Marses
You're
here.
not?
I guess technically we are
paid.
sponsored by Mars. I'm sorry, this is actually a Mars-sponsored stream.
But I get paid.
If you get paid, then it's Ori-sponsored.
Oh, well.
A sponsorship is you paying me to promote your product, which is you.
I paid you in a really good anime and company last weekend.
Yes. So this is a sponsored stream, a Mars sponsored stream, but I do promote all of the Mars because basically a Mars is a friend that you know
Your
just
Mars
is there to hype you up.
has to know not how to draw.
Yeah,
the
not
best
your
she can
craft.
do
You
is
specifically need a friend
figure.
that is an actual friend. Okay, you can't have somebody that's like, if they're not a good friend, and I'm not saying they necessarily have to be super close. The closer the better, but you know, they can't be like a bad friend, you know what I'm saying? And you have to have a good friend who is not versed in the craft that you perform, okay? So that could be writing.
This goes true for Oris.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you writers out there, get yourself an Ori.
Right? And you know, an Ori that has see Ori has just the vaguest amount of like knowledge with writing that is mostly like, oh yes, character voice, I can
Ori
hear
has the
Senshi in it,
biggest
or like
knowledge of,
this
I know how
one
to tell good stories.
this one, and we're also talking very little grammar. You're not getting an Ori to proofread your work, okay? You're getting an
Yeah.
Ori for the vibes, right? Just like you're getting
You're
a
not
Mars,
getting an
not for
Ori to check
critique.
your grammar.
You're getting a
That's not
Mars
happening.
for the vibes, right? And because the Mars doesn't have the knowledge, but
Unless, of course,
enjoys
your Mars says,
art.
hey, I think there's something missing or the eyebrows are wrong.
Yeah. But that's less of a that's like an actual mistake of saying like 4 + 4 is like 9, right? Like there's a difference between like, oh, the art is not my thing, and saying like, you literally didn't draw, you gave Hotsun to a Hogeis. And it's like, okay, yes, there is character design things that Ori can forget. And that brings me to the other point of, even when you do feel confident drawing your characters, still have a reference and still use the reference. And if you change so far from the reference, redoing it is beneficial.
Don't be afraid of the references.
I literally, for this whole thing, I didn't reference Hotsun, I didn't reference Milano or Ferrix, they're simple. But I did have to reference Sinnet, and I did have to reference Aster. So don't be afraid to reference your stuff, okay? It's there for you to keep continuity. So that's the other thing with continuity. When your design settles,
use them.
When your design settles, do make a reference sheet. Now, they don't have to be fancy like the ones I did, right? I specifically wanted to do those for, 1, incredible functionality because they are paper dolls, and 2, for aesthetic purposes. So I did lean into them looking very pretty. Something I desired out of my reference sheets. But when you're doing something just for you, like, they don't have to be crazy, like they literally, like, the reference sheet I used was that like Hotsun that I showed you, was like, I drew that Hotsun. I also had like head turns very early, so it's like having a reference to help is very good. Very beneficial. Yes. But okay, now to drawing real people and other things in your style. I think that it is a very good indicator, in my opinion, when you are able to translate things that are not in your style into your style. And that is a good indicator as how comfortable you are with your style. And now, a lot of people tell you, and this is because it's true, the advice is to like, look for like the main features of a character, of an actor, of a whatever. Look for the main features, what, like the eye shape. Art is very much a balancing game. It very much is. And you look for the specific features, and you try to sort of see how you translate. And I will say, a very large assistance that has helped me is looking at fan art of a character from an artist that is closer to your style, right? So say like Dipper and Mabel from Gravity Falls are very much not my art style, right? They're very cartoony with very simple shapes and very like, they have the bean head and everything like that. So they could be very difficult to still feel like Dipper and Mabel, but be, and the age that they are, I find that's a big thing. The age that they are in a more detailed leaning towards anime art style, right? I would say I would call my art style Western anime because that's what inspired it, is shows that are Western anime.
I see your art style as Voltron that ate anime.
Yeah, that's my biggest things are Voltron and Avatar: The Last Airbender, which are both anime-esque, like shows that are very heavily inspired by anime themselves, made by Western studios, right? So it's very much, it's like, that's why I call it Western anime, right? But so what I would do is I would look up like Dipper Mabel fan art, and I would try to find an image that I still felt like Dipper and Mabel, but was closer to the style that I draw in. And then I would use sort of that as reference and bring it in. And that was sort of like the earlier days of me trying to do that sort of thing. And then you can finally, and same with like real people, right? So it's like, okay, if I wanted to draw, Chris Hemsworth's Thor, right? I would look up Thor fan art, right? Chris Hemsworth Thor fan art, and try to find an artist that did closer to my style, and then reference off of that, right? And now that's not best practice for being like necessarily accurate, right? Because if one artist makes a mistake and now you're referencing the thing that's a mistake, telephone. But it is very helpful, in my opinion, in order to sort of learn how to take realistic, actual people or very, very different stylized art and what other artists have done to move it to their style, and thus get an idea of how to move it to your style. And then getting to a point then where after that, where you can go directly from one to the other, is definitely like the art level up, I guess. Right? I feel like there's a bunch of moments in art where you get a level up. And that's one of them.
It's a pretty nice level up.
It's a good level up. But so I think that is very my biggest sort of like what helped me was very much doing that. And for a while it would, very early, very, very early in what I would consider when I started actually doing art with the purpose of like doing it as a hobby and not just for like other related things that art was involved in. I would see like fan art and be like, wow, I really like how this person drew Marinette from Miraculous Ladybug. And I would use that as reference to try and draw Marinette like them, right? And that's how you gain a style, is you're stealing ideas off of art you've seen and being like, oh, I like that, I'm gonna use that, I'm gonna use that thing, and etc. And then you translate it, like a very big example. This sort of hatching thing is inspired by another artist. I can't say exactly who, but I do very, very, very much recall being like, I saw this from someone and being like, I'm gonna do that, and I did it, and I really liked it. However, I've never seen someone do it like this with the feathers, but that was like the translation of like, I'm doing this to denote hair, so I'm doing this texture to denote feathers, and that's how I took it and made it mine, right? That's how this style thing was not just stolen, copied, it was inspired. I do think it's pretty accurate. Yes, Mason. When you draw Dragon Ball characters, I really see it. Pokemon fan on Google made you want to be an artist as a kid. There you go. See, I feel like I feel like Pokemon is a big catalyst. My first like sketchbook that I ever really had that I would consider like, again, part of the like art journey that led me to this point, was drawing Pokemon as accurately as possible, but not like tracing. But I was attempting to, I would basically just draw the Pokemon again in their like default pose.
Curious, did you ever have the Pokemon art books?
No, I did not.
Oh.
No, it was literally like the Mega Evolutions had come out. And I was like,
oh, right around that time. Okay.
Yeah, so 9th grade is when I would say the path that got me to here started. Because so it's like, I do say this very specifically, and that is like, when I was much younger, we have an art league, and I took a class there, and I did an art class there. I did these little doodles with my friend in elementary school where we made little comics about this donkey, and he was goofy, and we made these little things. I did little doodles of like food characters with like colored gel pens and stuff. But I would say that those aren't what necessarily like led me here, versus like in 9th grade, I don't even remember exactly what happened, but I'm trying to remember exactly what led to what, but something happened when I was taking like a photo class in 9th grade, so we were developing like film and everything. I don't remember how we got to drawing, but there was like a part of the class, and it was like, oh, just free to like work on whatever you want, like whatever artistic thing you want to work on.
That was I like definitely toward the end of the quarter, I think.
Yeah, it's towards the end of the quarter, but it's still 9th grade. So what must have happened? What must have happened is that, so in 9th grade, this is what happened. Yeah, Pikachu does technically have legs. He just has very low pooch, so he's very, very fluffy. He's like a Kirigumi was alive, you know? But, so yeah,
Which
so
makes him so adorable.
I know what happened. So in 9th grade, I was taking, I was taking this photo class, and then that year for Christmas, I got the gift of going to Disney World. And we got to go to Disney World to celebrate New Year's, so that was very, very cool. And in Disney World, I got a henna tattoo. And the henna tattoo was of this, like, flower, and I loved the design so much. And I had that, like, 64 pack of, like, Pilot gel pens that were, like, the colors. And so in my sketchbook, I would just draw that pattern, that design I got, that flower, over and over and over again with different colors. And then I started cross-hatching and like blending them together. And then I sort of, you know, branched out and took that and started making just big with all different colors. And so I have a whole sketchbook that is full with tons and tons and tons. That's like what I did in classes. I doodled those over and over and over and over and over again. And so then when we got to the end of the class with the photo thing, it was like, work on whatever you want. And it was like, I want to like do better at drawing or something. I was like drawing Pokemon at that time too, and so he like was teaching me how to draw like a Hydra head. So that was pretty cool.
That's amazing.
And then in 10th grade, I got on Tumblr.
And the rest is history.
I got on Tumblr.
Hey, Dichotomy.
I started watching Gravity Falls, and I saw Monster Falls, the AU, and I fucking fell in love with Deerper. Okay, I mean, can you, like, obviously we've gotten here now.
And you tell.
And so it was like, okay, I wanna draw Deerper, and I originally drew Deerper in the actual Gravity Falls style, and then I was seeing like big inspiration at the time was like Ellen Torrey art. Oh, he was great, Allie. He was great. We had our high school and our school district in general is specifically known and renowned
we lucked out with a really good art program.
Yeah, for its arts and music program. There's been a lot of money donated to that. We have one guy who's very famous across like the marching band greater world, who went to our school. I knew him. Like, unfortunately, he passed away while I was there, but he was like at my marching band camp for 2 years. Like before he unfortunately passed away, but he was like around still, and he was like a big name, and so he like brought a lot into our arts and music program. We have an arts and music festival every year where all of the schools like show off their art, and the bands and the orchestras play, and the choirs sing and everything. And you know, we still have like a community
it's like a huge deal
because we have so many like musicians from our school.
We also had
that still
special
live there.
scholarships too.
Yeah, so like it's really, really, really crazy.
Like we were really lucky, honestly.
Oh, how many hours, Dichotomy? What was my Mars? How many hours did you have?
Hang on, I gotta check. I don't remember off the top of my head.
How could you? Okay,
How
if
could I not remember?
watched 6. No, that doesn't work that way. We streamed. How many hours did I stream for? Doesn't tell me. I'm gonna say 64. I have no idea.
How do I get to my Wrapped again?
I don't know. It was in an email.
Oh, crap. Maybe it's in my notifications.
Really
It was in my notifications. Okay, let's see.
I need to see how many Mars
viewer.
did.
Okay, how many hours I watched?
Yeah, Ace Attorney specifically.
438.
438. So Dichotomy, I'm gonna say 342. Oh, 255 of Twitch in total? Okay, we're gonna back down. I'm gonna say 234.
And I am a patron of the arts.
Mm-hmm.
Because that just makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm Fine Artist of the Year. don't know how the math actually works, dichotomy, if I'm being honest. I don't know if that's like, because if I have 2 streams open that I'm lurking in, is that counting double hours, or is that total hours I'm on Twitch? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really know.
Yeah, how
you know,
does that
is it counting
balance
the
out?
fact that I have like Twitch open watching my own stream? Does it know? I have no idea. Oh, 111. Still a good number.
Yes, no, maybe so.
Still a good number. Yeah, because I do try to lurk support on a lot of streamers that I, know kinda.
I gotta get better at doing that.
It's hard if your like computer or your internet's slow, but you can do it if you literally like mute it and turn like the video quality way down, like to the bottom, like 144, and then you can just have it run and you count as like a view for them, so it's good for their analytics and stuff.
Ooh. Look at that, Ori with the life hacks.
I try to do that for Hans. I try to do that for Rage and Kaz and Dichotomy, and I don't do it for Cinder so much anymore. He's too much of a real streamer now, guys. He's left the small streamer, area. I don't actually know. He has
grown up.
I don't know what amount of viewers at a time suddenly makes you a large content creator.
Are we going to make your eyeballs?
But hello, Pastry Puff.
Not totally centered, so I think we're going to.
We've been talking about a lot of art stuff. We're getting lots of art questions. It's been fun, and then we just had the Ori, the Lorikami, drop of what I consider, because I always specify like how I do art, because a lot of artists are like, oh yeah, I've been drawing since I was like 5 or something and I never stopped, and it's like that's not my experience, and I don't want that to be like
that's not my story.
Like yes, did I draw much younger? Yeah, but I don't feel like it's the same as like when they're saying like I was not the art kid, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's important. See, and that's why you keep coming back, Allie. I've got the life hacks. Look at those wings, boy. I was also talking about I wing leveled up. It's good shit. It's good shit.
Fuck yeah, you did. Look at them wings.
Look at them wings. Okay. 67.
Okay, let's sum down this hair stripey.
Beautiful. I'm trying to finish this before we had stream, and I was trying to work on something else, but we'll see. I kept getting sidetracked. I like showing off my art too much, guys.
Really good conversations tonight.
Oh yeah, it's not really a problem, guys. I never want you to think so. My levels are. I don't know about that, Allie. Give me too much credit there, but I appreciate it. Ooh, so that's a fun thing to do, because I was showing like my different, the characters in different years and stuff. I highly, 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 highly recommend every once in a while, within like spans of time. Like, don't do it too close because it will lose the effect, but like maybe every 6 months, definitely. Like, I think once a year is a good one. I think you could do it as close as every 6 months. I wouldn't do it more often than that. Redraw something that you drew before, with the intention of like,
it's always good to see how far you've come.
So you don't have to do it exact. Like, my goal at one point was just drawing Chat Noir every year. Okay, it wasn't anything specific like him in this specific pose or anything. It was just I would redraw Chat Noir every year. And the reason I highly recommend this, and the reason I always advocate for never ever ever throwing out your art, never ever ever deleting it, always saving it somehow, is the fact that in those times that you feel like you're not improving, that you don't feel like, that you feel like you've stagnated, maybe that you've even regressed, I think it's really, really beneficial to go back to your old art and be able, especially if you can, remember art that you were proud of. I always think back, there is a Reverse Falls AU Dipper and Mabel and Humanoid Bill Cipher that I drew again in 10th grade. So dating myself really hard, that's 10 years ago. That's a decade ago now.
Jesus, why?
Yeah, that hurt. I'm sorry. I had to.
Hi.
Yeah, exactly, dichotomy. And a lot of people I do find regret that they don't have their art very far back. And there's definitely been multiple times in my art career where it's like, not like maybe I feel like I just really am not improving, or I'm just really having a bad art day and it's being very difficult to draw, and being able to go back and look at like, wow, I was proud of these pieces, right? When I drew them, I very much remember being like, wow, these are really good, I really like them, and they, you know, they have merit or whatever, but they're certainly much more amateur than where I am now. Right, like I said, there's these very early reverse AU Dipper and Mabels where their like hand is outstretched, and I was like doing foreshortening stuff, and their hand is very like anime big, you know, reaching out to you to like shake your hand. And I remember being so proud of that piece. I remember being like, this is the coolest thing, right? This is the cool, they're really reaching out to you. This is so cool. I did it. Like, it's weird foreshortening with the hand. I was so proud. I look back at that, and it very much does not hold up. It very much does not hold up. And that's fine. And what that shows is that I did improve, right? Because you forget, you don't realize. You improve so slowly a lot of times that you don't realize having it. And I will say, when you're not as like, I draw literally every day. This is not an exaggeration. This is the thing that I like to do with my time.
Actually does
and when I
draw
don't
every day.
draw, I am saddened. If I am unable to draw, I am sad. I want to draw more than anything else. Any other sort of hobby. I have to physically like be like, no, Ori, you have to edit videos before you could draw. Or Ori, if you edit videos, you could draw thumbnails. Like literally, it's like I want to draw. And so I will say at this point now in my career, after drawing literally like every day for 4 years now, I am fairly in tune with like certain strides and what I am calling level ups, right? Where it's like, oh, like I actually sat down and I like really learned how to draw Aster's Wing, like level up, you know, I know how to do that now, right? Or it was like, oh wow, I'm really like loose and like loosely sketching and these figure drawings are really, really great and I did it really fast, like
branch,
you know, art level up. But a lot of times it's not noticeable. A lot of times a big thing I learned, and I take this piece of advice like really, I think this is a really important one, and it's that your eye learns before your hand. And what that means is that the only way to improve is for you to notice your mistakes first. So your eyes will learn and notice your mistakes before your hand can fix them. So in those times when it feels like, wow, I can't draw, everything is bad, almost always what happened is not that you regressed, it's the fact that your eye has improved to now you know anatomy more, so now you're noticing your anatomy mistakes. But your hand has not yet evolved to fix those mistakes in the beginning. So now that you know, you have to put in the time and effort to learn how to fix those mistakes.
Think about it.
And you have to learn how to fix those mistakes. And so you're usually not getting worse, you're just learning things that you didn't see before that are to improve. And so being able to look at your old art and see how far you've come, I at least personally find very inspiring and very to be like, wow, I haven't stagnated or I haven't like lost it, like I'm still growing and improving every day. And like the comic is a very big thing of that. But even like I wouldn't have said that like I felt like my art last year was very different to now, but it really is. It really is. Even though like last year is when I developed this like shading style, overall the characters are still like I have still improved since then. My anatomy's better, my like, you know, form is better, whatever it is. And you just don't notice it because it's so small. And so it's important to be able to go back and look.
Recognize the effort you put in.
Both are very mad at each other. I
will say that advice holds up even if you're not an artist. like it's just a facet of learning, because the more you learn, the more you're going to recognize, oh shit, I did this wrong because now I know more about this one
Be
thing.
proud, Allie.
That's true for anything you do. So, little life lesson, not just an art lesson.
No, it's with literally any skill, right? Any skill that you can have tangible, like, views of your earlier stuff. Like, even with, like, our Ace Attorney stuff, both in the videos, like how I've edited them.
Oh, I'm incredibly proud of how far my voice acting has come along.
And in how our voice acting has come, and our, like, stream presence has come. I watched those early videos, and I'm like, oh god, a phoenix is just Ori with a tilt to it. This is the phoenix I did in the beginning. This is not very phoenix at all. This is just Ori. But now Phoenix has an identity, right? You can hear things like Mars's judge in the very early is very different from Mars's judge now, you know?
He got more blah, blah, blah.
He's got more, yeah, exactly. He's much more identifiable. Instead of just being Mars talking with kind of a lower
Mars
voice.
with a very deep voice.
And but then, like I said, also, like, our stream presence has increased. There's a lot of, like, stuff. Well, we still have fun.
We wanted to be focused. We wanted to give the story, and now we're like, yep, no chaos. We're going off into tangents.
Not even that, but it's also like you can very much see Dylan get comfortable, right? Like, you can very much see, like, Dylan being kind of like playing a little second fiddle. He's kind of quiet, he's kind of whatever, and then we get Mo, and now he's punning left and right, and then the gremlin comes out, right? And then we have the Dylan that we see on stream today. Now, he was always that person, but he just got more comfortable with the format, right, of how the stream works and everything, and how all this sort of stuff. And, you know, Mars and I got more comfortable too.
Like, looking at your computer and talking to a mic, it's kind of a wild experience.
No,
like,
it really is
not natural in the slightest.
That's why I could never. The only reason that like, we're streaming like this is because I have Mars 99% of the time. Can I manage when she's sick or something? Yeah, but I will say, not if we didn't have a chat. Not if we didn't have any sort of thing to play off. You know, Mars being in chat is very helpful because you have something to go off. The people who stream and just stream, that's a whole nother sort of skill set, right? So anything where it's tangible, where you can look back, you can see the difference. But even you as the consumer a lot of times can't see the difference if you're following. A big thing I highly recommend is looking at your favorite webcomic and then going back to the first episode. It is crazy. It is wild. You don't realize, you don't think that, like, oh wow, there are such things. I did it with Cast Off, right? I love Cast Off. It's a great independent webcomic. It's by the Starfish Face. It's great. She's really great. Love her as a creator. Definitely one of my inspirations. I never sort of sat back and was like, oh wow, this art style really changed, you know, after reading the comic. But now we're at, like, I don't even know how long it's been. Many years in to her comic journey, right?
Oh, she's been at this for
I think it's 7 years.
time.
I feel like it just happened.
Yeah.
You go back to that first comic
she just had an
entry,
anniversary too,
and it's like, wow, no, this is very different. Like, you can very much see the growth that she's come a long way, you know? And it's wild because you don't notice it. And that's something you as a person have to notice, especially if you're doing like a webcomic or something like that, is that no matter where somebody, no matter what time somebody starts, high five, Allie. Nice. But no matter where somebody starts, like I don't say where somebody starts, but like at what time somebody starts. If they're reading the comic as it's coming out right away from the beginning, or they've just started the comic and you're already 7 years in, they're still experiencing that slow incremental journey across each page. They're not getting whiplashed by the quality, right? Yeah, right, Page Puff? So even with manga that people are doing, like, for a living, it's not for free, this is their job, a manga takes years, and then going back, you are inherently going to grow as an artist, and you're going to grow in your style, and you shouldn't be afraid of improvement because you're attempting to make a sequential form of art, but it's so incremental that when you read it for the first time, when you are the consumer for the first time, you're also reading it in chronological order. You're also viewing it in chronological order because that's how a story works. So you don't notice it either. So nobody notices it either. So that gets you out of that sort of redraw loop. Is that, oh wow, my first episode is really, amateur compared to my now. Like I see a lot of flaws in it. But if I now made that one really good, the stark contrast to the next one is big versus saying like, no, I drew this
that
one.
was the issue we ran into.
So we ran into this issue, and it was solely because we added a prologue. So the only reason I redid the first two entries. We would not
have had this issue if we didn't make this choice.
Yeah, if we didn't make the choice, we wouldn't have had the issue. But I did the prologue basically at the end of drawing the comic for like a year at that point. I was much better. And so drawing the prologue made the first two episodes look really bad because you saw like what I could do, and then it went literally like 3 years back, 2 years back. And there was a lot of growth in those 2 years because we're talking about going from a period of time where Ori was not drawing every day to 2 years of Ori's drawing every day.
Literally every day.
And so that
is no exaggeration.
Incredible growth in that amount of time. And so it was very stark. So I opted to redraw just the first two episodes after the prologue, because the third one after that I felt was close enough. There was another leap in like quality between those first two and then that one where it actually had like backgrounds and shading and stuff. And so it was like, okay. And then I will say, before we uploaded a lot of them, I had gone back and there was like, I would go through and I would mark certain panels as like, this one really irks me, and I will redraw this panel. Not all of them, but this panel is particularly egregious and stands out, right? Or this panel like really feels like it's...
Meanwhile, Mars is looking at us like, I don't see what you're seeing, but okay.
But I specifically wasn't redrawing the whole thing, right? And so most people aren't gonna notice. No, please derail. What channel would be the best for sharing a short story? Yes. Let me recall my own server.
A short story in the Discord. Ooh. I think...
So usually the library.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll at you, Dichotomy. This is where... Yeah, it is Dichotomy,
The library is in the conservatory.
This is the library. It's specifically for written work.
Yes. And we've had a couple people share their written work here.
Yes, indeed.
Which is very exciting.
Yeah, so writing goes with art, because that's an art. And sketchbook and library is the one that's special because we do have a lot of writers in here as well. Museum is for any kind of art. So if you like made a really pretty cake or you like knit a sweater, that also goes in the library. Pastry Puff showed their Rock Fact Rock, all that's art.
We appreciate all the art around here.
We do. That we do. Oh. Ooh,
I am actually impressed with the pace I got going tonight. I don't want to stop. Yes. We're doing good.
Look at that. Look at how many chats, though, Dichotomy sent. 3,423. Damn.
Holy crap.
That's crazy.
That's a nutso amount.
Yeah. We're your top channel. That's all that matters to me. That's all that matters.
Yes. As long as we got that, we are content.
So much art to create, you're going to explode. Yeah. Well, especially when you don't have ears, Dichotomy. All you have is your chat.
True.
Oh yeah, no, 100% Dichotomy. 100%. Definitely more than Mars, because Mars is on stream. Mars does usually have the highest watch time, though, because she has the stream up and she's not the person streaming, so...
I am literally here the whole time.
Yeah. So, literally, nearly every single stream, with little exception, but there has been, like, one or two where she's out touching grass like a heathen, that she is not watching, so... Hers should be nearly identical to the amount of hours we've streamed.
It's actually kind of funny because I remember there was a period of time where I couldn't make it at the time at the start of stream, so I'd show up halfway through.
That was like that was last year though, wasn't it?
That was last year? I thought it was this year.
Was it this year?
I don't know.
I have no recollection. I could have thought that was last year.
Time is jumbled in my brain.
Yeah, I will say, sitting here and being like, wow, we had our second stream anniversary, and wow, we're going to have our second comic anniversary is like really weird time-wise in my head.
Freaking nuts.
Because it doesn't feel like that.
It doesn't.
It might have been 23, right? I feel like it was 23. I don't feel like your classes interfered this year. Because that was when we were still doing Drawing for Dragons really hard.
Oh, that's right.
So I don't think that was this year. I don't even know
So
when
maybe
Making
it wasn't
Time started,
this
though.
year.
I don't know. I feel like it was 23.
Well, Making Time definitely started when
It started this
we
year.
realized, oh shit, hiatus is gonna be done soon, and we gotta get shit done.
There's also being like, Ori has too many other projects that she wants to
truly
do.
started because you wanted to try out some other things, and you were like, why not use this on stream?
It was basically, yeah, no, it was literally, Ori has too many things that she wants to do, and never, ever, ever enough time to do them. So, you know what? There is a carved out time for every week. Stream.
I still have an unfinished paint by numbers craft
By
and
Gold
a
Bar?
sewing kit that I haven't done yet. Not sewing, knitting kit. I'll like, can I please have some time to do some shit? Why?
Because that's the other problem with the all I want to do is art, is because all I want to do is art. That's it. I love all my other hobbies too, but man.
I saw a freaking writing
Contest?
Wait, what the hell
A
am I
Secret Santa.
doing?
Yeah, it was a contest.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Uh-oh, what?
So I'm doing Aster's Wings, and I was coloring in the second layer, which is a lighter color. And I'm like, ooh, these are looking very good. I like how these are coming out. I've been using the eraser this whole time. So all I was doing was erasing the base color.
Oh.
Oops. Instead of using his white color, I was using the eraser. That
really
is an
funny.
impressive amount of tired.
Oh, that's so funny.
Okay, where the fuck is my pen?
Ay. Oh no.
God damn it, Aster.
She'll be fine.
I knew that looked too white.
Ooh, that's another art tip, guys. Not using pure white, especially not for really large areas.
Yeah.
Now, when
God,
I say
it stands out like snow.
what I will say is when I'm saying not pure white, we're very close to pure white. So basically take this is Ferrex's shirt color. You could barely see it, but if you could
It's
see
like
it
a
on stream,
gradient
it's
off,
like
I think.
slightly to the right of the top left corner. It's definitely not, you know, this one too. This is his teeth. They're slightly down. Again, it's not a massive difference. Same with black, and I highly recommend if you
want to delete Aster's Wings dichotomy.
But I will say, if you look at the pretty wings dichotomy, enjoy. Look, oh, so pretty, so lovely. But I also highly recommend against using pure black, especially if your line art style is solid black, because it makes it, unless you are going for the specific vibe of like a manga style, you know, like a black and white style where you are coloring like
style or like
where you are
cell
coloring
shading
like
almost.
specifically full blocks that aren't supposed to stand from the line out, but like Aster's wings are not pure black. They're a brown. And honestly, the main reason I do that is so that the line art is still existent. Because if I didn't, you wouldn't see the line art. You know, similar with Sinet's shorts and Milano's hair. I love the wings. The wings are something I love to do, and something that every once in a while is like, but I hate right now. Because there's just a lot of them. There's just a lot of feathers.
But you know what? I've found a way to streamline them.
And you know,
So,
and I've really shot myself at the foot, because we have 3 other winged characters that will eventually show up in the comic. And
they're all important to the plot, though, and them
important
having
to the
feathers is important to the plot.
Yeah, and I like them having feathers. Birds are super cool, but it is definitely like, oof, to me.
Can you tell we're biased?
Yeah. Oh gosh, indeed. Pretty wings, but it would cause honestly not that much sanity, if I'm being honest. I've gotten to the point where I'm pretty fast about it.
Just still working on the coloring element.
Yeah, honestly, I will have to say
It's not
I probably
as
will
bad
be
as it used to be.
coloring the other characters' wings. Maybe not one of them, but the other two, definitely one of them will have to be me coloring them.
Yeah.
I have to remember exactly the wing pattern of the other one, but
Sorry,
the
Ori.
third character you may be able to do. I'll have to, when I get to design that point, it'll matter then, because the original concept I think will differ from how we end up doing it, but it may be easy like Aster's, if the bird is how I recall it, because I think the bird itself has like pretty sectioned colors, so that would mean something you could do. But yeah,
Good
one of them
to
has
know.
like those classic like bird patterns, if anybody has any idea what I'm saying. You know, think of like how raptors, they always have that like lots of stripes and lots of like patterns to break up how they look in their shape, and you know, they're not like solid.
Ooh,
and,
yes,
and all this sort of
yes.
stuff. So one character at least will definitely have wings like that, and that's like, all right, Mars, you can put down the base color, and then Ori has a lot of work to do. That'll be something I will have to figure out how to streamline. Dichotomy, you still have ears, right? Because if you have ears, I want to ask you a question.
Yes, please do tell us.
Yes, indeed. Oh no! Oh yes, Dichotomy. Is it illegal to show off the most recent bird pattern thing that I did? Is that something we want to keep secret or no? I'm glad I caught you at the very end. Oh, go for it? All right.
Ooh,
So,
okay. Here we go.
This is something, this is one of the things that is in the, like, oh god, Ori has way too many things to do, sort of lines. But, this is the kind of pattern stuff I'm talking about. So you can see, this girly. This is even, like, minimal compared to, like, a real raptor bird, because it is a white environment. Yeah, oh, such a vibe, Dichotomy. That's why this stream is making up art time. I did not look under the couch cushions. Hold on, let me check. There's nothing at the couch, Mason. But, yeah, so this sort of, like, the tips and the patterning variation and the, you know, and here and all that sort of stuff. There's a character, at least one character, that will have that to the extreme on like most of their primary feathers. And so that'll be difficult. Oh, Allie's ears. I see, Mason. But she lost them in the war. I don't think ears end up in the couch cushion after the war. That's more like looking up the trenches.
What is the couch doing in a war?
Who knows? That sounds pretty
Maybe
ominous, doesn't it?
comfy.
Imagine being on a battlefield and you look up out of the trenches and there's just a couch. Like what do you think? What do you
Honestly, that feels like the start of a Twilight Zone episode.
But yeah, so
Okay.
Allie, this is for a collab I'm doing with Dichotomy. And so this is a monster that Dichotomy is homebrewing. So that will be coming out soonish. I don't have an exact date, but I do personally have a deadline, and
But soonish.
that
Get
is
ready.
soonish. So yeah, very fun stuff. Ugh. Beauteous.
Soonish isn't soonish.
But oh, this is another back to sort of drawing characters over and over again. I will say, Allie, there are details that sometimes, so there can be details that others may think are frivolous and, you know, too time consuming to be worth it, but other people may disagree. I think a prime example is the fact that I fucking love the rim light. Okay? I love it so much. I know it doesn't make sense in all contexts. I don't care. I like how it looks. So I'm gonna do it all the time. However, it certainly takes, you know, a little bit of time, especially on the feathers. But I really, really, really like how the feathers look when I do it. And that matters so much more to me than the time I would save by not doing it. Right? So even though I would say other comic artists may look at me, especially like professional ones, and be like, oh my God, why did you do that to yourself? You know, same with the other birds that I plan to do, right? Why did you do that to yourself? Why did you make them so complicated? And it's like, because one, to me, it matters that they look like the animal that they are meant to be based on. And two, because I do enjoy those patterns. Good night, dichotomy. Dichotomy. Oh.
Nice dichotomy.
Mine will definitely be done by the deadline. It's the other one that I don't know that I'm trying to get done by the deadline. Trying really hard. But yeah. So don't like what I was trying to say with that is like, don't psych yourself out of doing things that you like that make art fun for you.
Fun.
Right?
That's
I
a
find
big one.
that there's definitely a lot of things I do in art that are not like the way I do shadows and stuff. I don't really, unless the lighting is very dramatic, I don't try super hard for realism. I try for readability. As a personal thing, that it makes, one, doing the shadows easy for me, and two, a result that I know I always like. And thus, I'll do it that way. Even if the shadows technically, you know, wouldn't make sense or something like that. And things like that. So, this is a really good example of this is actually in those early comic panels that I redrew, we didn't shade Outcast originally. Outcast had no shading.
No.
And
We
the
were gonna leave
goal
it
of that
unshaded.
was specifically because I was learning about making webcomics and everything, and a lot of it was talking about how, like, you know, save time, you know, shading takes more time, and, you know, colored takes more time than black and white, yada yada, you know, all these sort of things that take more time, and just things to think about when you're making a comic, right? That, like, full color will take more time than black and white, etc. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, to save, well, having a colored comic was very important to me. You know, I obviously have read manga, but overall, I prefer colored comics. The color is something that I really enjoy, and I really like, you know, having colorful things. So it was important to me that it was color. So I'll save time and, you know, time with the shading. And I did that for first few. But
And then never again.
I didn't like it. I was like, no. It feels unfinished.
And Ori couldn't live with herself that
And
way.
Ori could not live with herself that way. Hello, Federico.
Hello, welcome, welcome.
Yes, I am attempting to. I had hoped to get more done today, Federico, but I did not. If I finish this today, I will be happy, though.
And I am proud of myself.
Yes, you should be.
Anybody want to see Aster with abs and pecs?
Ooh. Yeah, you wanna send me the picture? I'll bring it up.
Oh, I was just gonna share my screen, but sure, I could do that too.
It's unfortunately a little more difficult for me to do that.
Gotcha, no problem. Let's see.
Allie's like,
Camera.
yes. But Allie, that's good though. The fact that you're doing it because you love to draw and you love what you're drawing, I think is much more important than I think that's like the fundamental thing of making you will be good at art eventually then. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said,
Yeah.
I draw because
That's half the
I
battle,
literally
is enjoying what you do.
can't live without it. Like I joke about it, it's like, oh, I'm obligated, I have deadlines to meet. And it's true, I do have those things. But I then sit at my job while I'm not doing anything and I doodle and I draw and I want to draw and I want to draw more. And I'm always thinking about things to draw.
Ends.
And I just want to keep going. And so it's important. You picked such the weird pose, but that's okay. I struggled with this pose, guys.
This is the one I just finished, though.
But there he is. I had to redraw this pose like 4 times.
Look at those pecs, guys.
Yeah.
He's got nipples.
My final words would be drawing here. Let me show off an actual good shirtless.
No
picture.
unrealistic bodies here.
Here we go. Here's my boy. There he is. Not in a weird setting off pose. Look at him. Look at his feather pants. This was very inspired by Dungeon Meshi. How I draw the down feathers.
Oh yeah, that definitely gives Chimera
Oh yeah, a hundo.
spoiler vibes.
1 hundo. Dungeon Meshi influenced 2 big art-related things with me, and that is elf ears and down feathers.
Understandably
Body
so.
feathers.
They are quite beautiful.
Yeah, Fallon. So great. Oh, the music stopped. Is it asking me if I'm still going or not?
The
It is.
music stopped.
It was asking me if I was still listening, like a blobble.
Ugh. I hate when it does that.
I
was
really
trying
do.
to run a Christmas playlist the other day. Okay, first playlist I pulled up. No offense, it was great, it was good, but I don't want poppy Christmas shit. I'm sorry. I want nostalgic Christmas. I want the bells. I want the jingly tunes.
I want caroling
the guy who
Christmas.
sounds like he's singing into a broken microphone. Like, come on.
Yeah, I want caroling Christmas.
Superior.
We don't need what's her name, who we shall not summon.
Yeah, it depends on the time, the day, the place, and the mood. There's a lot of factors that
For
must
like
fall into
background
place.
music, not for me. If I'm like trying to sing Christmas music, I'm down for like nearly whatever, as long as it's old enough where like I know what it is.
Allie, last week's episode of Dawn to Dawn, I friggin' loved it.
Oh, I watched
I thought it was
today's.
very fun. I love seeing Ira's growth as a character. That was really nice. I'm
Dawn to
glad we
Dawn.
got like a little moment of remorse from her. Oh, spoilers?
I have put it
Spoiler.
up. I put it up.
Okay. I love that we get a little remorse from Ira. Like, she's like, no, I started all those rumors about Momo. None of them are true. Oh, I'm really hoping that continues to grow because that was fantastic. And also the fact that they have to steal the cows for their milk. Like, as soon as they went that direction, it was really funny because Ori and I watched this episode together. So we were both seeing it for the first time. And as soon as they mentioned the cows and like the aliens' blood being similar to milk, I turned to Ori and I'm just like, that's why they take the cows.
Yes.
That's why aliens steal the cows.
Which was great.
I thought that was so fucking brilliant.
That's one of my favorite media tropes.
Also,
Explaining why aliens steal cows.
it's so fun.
They
'cause
did
it's
it
just-
in the original Teen Titans. It's so good.
The best thing is when there's no answer, so you can literally come up with any answer. As long as it's somewhat plausible, it works.
Yeah, so good.
It's just so fun.
An alien
And then,
vampire. I mean, vibe though.
Introduction of Gigi at the end. My God.
Oh, guys,
Yeah,
wait till
Okarun's
this
turned to
episode.
be hella jealous.
It's so good. This episode was so good. I won't spoilers, but oh,
It was really funny when he showed up because both Ori and I were like, oh, now Okarun gets to be jealous. Equal rights.
yeah, equal
Both the boy and the
opportunity
girl
jealousy.
Get to be jealous. Equal opportunity jealousy, exactly.
So good.
And
Dawn to
that
Dawn's
was
been
my
great.
first time seeing it in the dub, which I gotta say,
Yes, it's good.
voice acting.
I like it. I like
Very,
that.
very good voice acting. I think I'm gonna stick with the sub just because that's what I started with.
Mm-hmm.
But I can hypothetically go back and rewatch it in the dub. It is very, very well done.
Yeah, I will say, guys, nowadays I definitely gravitate to the dubs of stuff because they're very well done. You know, once upon a time they really were hit or miss. Once upon a time you could get a good one, you could get a bad one.
And then corporations realized you could make money from
But
good
nowadays
dubs.
they are really good.
And we've been blessed. I guess, thank you, capitalism?
Yeah, in a way, in a
Shit.
weird way.
Do I have to thank capitalism for something? Fuck!
No, don't thank capitalism. I keep fucking ranting about book printing shit. Pisses me off.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you watched the dub. Nice. It was so wild to me, Allie, that it comes out same day. I fully
Yeah,
expected
is
it to
nuts
be
how fast they get that out.
a week or
It-
two behind.
It's all recorded. Like they must have recorded this ages ago.
Oh yeah, no, it's done. But
Allie,
that's wild.
Turbo Granny's voice actor is Rita from the Power Rangers.
Oh. I really like.
So like people were
Okarun?
watching Dawn to Dawn's dub and being like, why is Turbo Granny's voice so familiar? It's Rita Repulsa.
There you go.
It's the same actress. And she is very nearly doing the exact same shtick, but it's so good. It works so well. I know, right, Allie?
Yeah. And that's why you think she's the best. No. I really
Your
love Okarun's.
subconscious was telling you.
I love Okarun's V8 because the switch between Okarun and like yokai is so good.
I didn't
It's-
see it in the episode I watched with you,
so
but I have
good.
seen clips, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, just being
phenomenal.
like, oh, this is Okarun. He's cute. He's like, you know, a little nerd. It's great. He's a teen boy. And then, yeah, Momo. It's like, oh.
I'm an awkward guy.
I never really
yo.
watched them, Mason. My knowledge of Power Rangers is that when I was in elementary school, I was friends with a guy And this is very classic. So this is elementary school, and I was told that girls speak girl language and boys speak boy language, and they can't understand each other. And I'm like, but we're friends, and I'm a girl. He's like, yeah, you can speak boy language, and it's like, okay, cool. I'm the cool cat, and that meant we played Power Rangers together. And we were the Power
Gotta
Rangers.
love child logic.
Yeah. And so that was pretty wild. And then, this is really crazy small world shit though. He moved away. So he stopped going to the school that I went to, and he went to a different elementary school. And so I like didn't see him. And then it turned out that he actually moved next to my cousin's house and thus just stayed in my school district, but went to a different elementary school. And so I like saw him again and we like played in his yard because I was like, oh shit, he's there. Look at what? This is crazy. Literally next door neighbor to my cousin. Really, really well.
Oh
well, it wasn't my
God,
cousins at the time.
amazing.
My cousins were too young. My aunt and uncle's house. They weren't born yet.
Man, small friggin' world when that happens.
Yeah, so
Jeez.
wild.
It's really funny that Power Rangers came into this discussion because my little brother is currently trying to watch all the seasons of Power Rangers, like
Oh my
every
God.
single one he found. He comes up to me and he's like, I got through 7 episodes today. I'm on my way. Good luck, buddy. You're going to be here for a while.
Yep. Hey, but if people can start and somehow finish One Piece still,
True.
well, catch up, I guess.
Can't
Not
argue with
finish.
that
But you know
logic.
what I mean. What was I gonna say though? There's that.
What's the best Power Rangers series? I will be honest, Allie. I love the pop culture around Power Rangers. I think it's very fun. It's really fun seeing the fans get into it. I was never one of the people who were part of it, but I respect what it did.
Yeah, even though I
do
played Power
respect what
Rangers,
it did.
I never watched a single episode of Power Rangers. Ever.
I've only seen it in passing.
I've
And
seen like
I
a
did
couple
somehow
clips,
watch Power Rangers Turbo.
but I've
I
technically.
don't know why I watched that movie. I do remember watching it fairly recently. It was like during pandemic time. And
What
it just
the
happened to
hell?
be on TV. And my folks and I were like, yeah, we're bored out of our minds enough for this.
Literally nothing else to do. Oh god.
It wasn't bad. It was just it was campy. It was goofy, but like
Yeah.
what more could you ask for? You go into it expecting that.
The animal one is the one we played. But
The animal one is fun.
yeah, but like I said, literally never seen a single like.
I mean, we
actual
all know
episode.
Steel Samurai is very based on the Power Rangers. And now that we know that there was a Samurai Power Rangers.
So that's a big thing. Voltron came first. That was a big thing. So everyone's like, "Oh, Voltron whipped up power." No, Voltron came first, and then Power Rangers did their little combined shit. So really, it's a lot of Voltron stuff going on. And I do enjoy me some Voltron. I never watched the original Voltrons, but Legendary Defender has definitely a very special place in my heart and like personality to this day.
Legendary Defender seasons 1 through 4 have a very special place in my heart.
I only never saw the last
I cannot
season.
speak about seasons 5 and 6.
Was 6 the last one? I thought there was more.
I don't remember how many
There
seasons
had
they
to
went
be
up
more.
to.
Wasn't there like 9? There was more.
Voltron. Legendary 8 seasons.
Okay, that makes more sense. Because I'm like, no. I definitely saw like 6 and 7 or something. Like, there's no way that it was like only. Yeah, I never saw season 8.
I just know once the writing got rough, I didn't return.
Yeah. The sole reason
Very
I never
sad.
watched season 8 was because it was at a point I had graduated college, and so the friends that I was watching it with, we couldn't like binge it, and I just didn't have like the like ability to do it by myself really easily, and so I just never got around to doing it. And then by time I was like possibly gonna do it, it was like, yeah, everybody says it was really bad and disappointing. And I'm like, all right, you know, if it's that terrible,
so frustrating because
I'm just going to avoid.
the way I remember it, I feel like I went through a semester of college. It was going to come out at the end of semester. And I was like, I'm finally going to have time to watch it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. But then, you know, you're on social media and you get the drip feed of, wow, this episode fell off hard. Oh, wow, they did this to this character. Oh, wow, they killed this one character really, like, heinously. I'm just like, oh, okay. Not getting the warm fuzzies from this.
Once Lotor was out of the picture, it was certainly like, I'm a little sad. Like,
spoilers for Voltron.
Yeah.
Apparently Lotor was the one they, like, freaking massacred.
Well, he gets, so he goes crazy, and then he gets stuck in, like, the Quintessence Rift or whatever. And then that's it, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, you were the coolest villain. Forget Zarkon. Zarkon's a bitch. Like, Lotor.
At least at the point where they stopped, I was like...
You mean Zarkon,
you had your Zuko. You had your Zuko, and you threw him out the window into space.
I didn't even need him to be redeemed. He was just a better villain. He was more calculating. He was more charismatic, you know, classically to like manipulate. It was just more interesting. Zarkon's
really
just
good
this
voice
like
actor.
Zarkon's like Sozin, but then they had no second, right? That's the whole thing. If you want this looming power other thing, he can't be in the battle because he has to be this thing that is unobtainable, unreachable overall, but we keep fighting him directly?
For a while.
And it's like...
They had Hagar for a while.
Yeah,
but I'm
and
not sure
she
if
was
she
sympathetic.
kept coming back.
She didn't keep coming back. We had her, and then she was like sympathetic because we got like her backstory.
I remember she was interesting in that she was supposed to be Altean. So she like kind of betrayed her people. But I don't know if they ever did anything interesting with that.
When he... liked how we went through... I'm lost on what the thing is. Allie, I'm sorry, we're at stream delay. You didn't like when Shiro came back to life, but not really? You mean like while he was gone and missing, and then... Voltron now, Pastry Puff. We're on Voltron, I'm sorry. I should have
We're jumping around.
Put him down and brought him back up. We kind of switched real fast. Voltron Legendary Defender spoilers now. I guess we don't really need a spoiler card for that. That's kind of old.
It's been out so long. It's probably fine. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Is that his Soldier strap?
When it was revealed he was a clone. I must have either missed that part, and I'm completely forgetting, or that was in season 8, and I totally didn't pay it. Like, I didn't see that season. Now I have to look up this shit. When do you tell me?
God damn it, chat. You gave us homework. Okay. I think that's
all I want
the strap, because that's your hand.
Is for you to tell me when it reveals that he is a clone.
It's gotta be on like the fan wiki page.
I'm looking on the fan wiki. I'm trying to see when he became a clone or not. Like when, not when he became a clone, but like when we like find out he's a clone. I don't know.
Okay. Voltron, when do we find out Shiro is a clone? Season 6.
Okay, I just blocked that shit out, I guess. I don't know. I will say, a lot of Voltron is memorable.
Also, there's a Reddit that says, "Can someone please explain Clone Shiro? I'm confused."
Yeah. Yeah, someone's talking about it season 5.
Merged with his clone body at the start of season 7.
Okay, so season 7 is the one that is...
That's a design.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I will definitely say they become a blur.
I do remember season 4 being Keith I think he reunited with his mom.
I didn't
and I was like, oh, that was nice. That was good.
Keith reuniting with his mom, but then he leaves them, and I'm like upset that he fucking ran away. And I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? Okay, you know, this kind of sucks, dude. You just run away with your mom for a while.
In general, when shows break up the main group.
Oh, we've talked about this. We've talked about this.
I didn't like it when they did it in Hunter and Hunter at the end. I didn't like it when they did it in, what was the other show I hated that?
Voltron's later seasons is a blur.
Trying to remember. Well,
Like
I hated
said,
it in Voltron, for sure. It's just like, why split up the main duo? Unless it's for, like, a dramatic reason. Like Vash separating from the group at the end of Trigun Stampede.
but we talked
Makes sense. It's plot relevant.
Okay. See, hold on.
There's a reason.
Everything
but
after
at the end, they're
Lotor,
just like, yeah, let's go our separate ways. I'm like, what?
everything after Lotor being defeated, which is season 5, which makes sense to me, is a blur. I can remember up to that point.
I never watched season 5. Like, I'm even more behind than you.
Yeah. So I've seen through season 7, but I will admit, season 6 and 7 are, like, vague, apparently. I've learned right now.
Yeah. That'd be rough.
Yeah, that I'm upset about. Her, like, sacrifice is weird, too. All of that stuff's weird. All of that whole thing is weird. But, no, what was I saying? So, we're gonna unspoilers, because now we're talking about breaking up your main characters. Like, physically removing them from each other spatially. So, Mars and I have talked about this. And it is that really, really sucks. And the reason that it sucks is because you need to spend twice as long to get the same amount of time to pass, if that makes sense. Or you have a character that is going off and doing something completely off screen, which really, really sucks. Okay? Unless there is a specific mystery, like at least the idea of like clone Shiro and everybody thought he was dead, like at least that has like some level of intrigue that is meant to be happening, right? And you're not supposed to know. So that being off screen, him becoming a clone, is meant to be a mystery, right? So it's like, okay, that's fine, that's whatever. But if someone's having character growth and it's happening off screen, it kind of really sucks when they come back and you have no idea what's happened. The other thing is that you fall in love with those characters. And so now having to drudge through all this time about lamenting basically each other for a very long time is really, really sucky when it goes on too long. Now, we're not saying, good night, Mason.
Night, Mason.
We're not saying, so should have been Keith. Allie, the Voltron shipping is like, again, a very staple of my, like, human being.
Minefield.
So if you mean Tolkien fans, like I enjoy Lord of the Rings, yes, I never read the books. I have seen the movies. I've seen the first season of the show, but I kind of was like, not super crazy to watch the second season. I'm not like a diehard fan or anything, but like I am an enjoyer of Lord of the Rings, you know, and The Hobbit and everything. They are
definitely
movies that I know and understand.
Enjoyer.
Yeah. So if that's what you like, I don't want to say I'm a fan and be like, I know all the ins and outs, because like I definitely do not.
It was such a mistake to marathon all the movies back to back to back, because by the end my eyes were swimming. Oh,
interesting. I don't have that problem. I have no idea where one movie ends and the other starts. Like I know The Hobbit and then I know The Lord of the Rings.
The funny thing is, so I have two stories about Lord of the Rings. The first one is the reason I watched them all back to back is because I had one of those free trials to watch the movies. So I was like, well, shit, I got to do this in a weekend before my free trial expires, because I don't want to have to pay for anything. I'm a broke college student. So I was like, okay, here's a Saturday. We're going to marathon all the movies. And I did. And I enjoyed them. They were good. The fight choreography was great. I liked the relationship between Sam and Frodo. That was a really good friendship. But my head hurt so much by the time I was done. I was like, I never want to look at a computer screen again. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then
And then killing him,
Excuse me.
Allie. And then killing him. That was the...
And then killing him.
He was fine until they killed... Like, it was like, okay, this is fine.
This representation
And then
that
they literally
Voltron
did kill your gaze.
said they did.
Bury your gaze.
Such
Terrible.
a slap in the face.
Terrible.
But then the other story I have about Lord of the Rings is my parents, they watched the Hobbit movies over and over, but they will not watch the Lord of the Rings over and over. And I asked them this, and they said, because all they do is fight. I was watching the first... This is my dad talking. I watched the first movie. I fell asleep while they were fighting. I woke up 3 hours later, and they were still fighting.
Yeah, because you missed the shit in the middle, Dad!
You missed all the stuff in the middle.
Jesus. Yeah, right? He
Those are my
dies.
2 stories about Lord of the Rings.
Which is the ridiculous part.
Excuse me. I would say I'm a casual enjoyer. Good
Also,
God,
I'm
taking
way
too
more
much air.
here. I'm way more here for the Shiro Matt ship. Just saying.
Shiro Matt was good.
Shiro Matt is so good. Okay. But
Because that's a character we actually know and can form an attachment to.
they're
And
little,
also
like,
see
they
how
have to
Shiro
be together for a
interacts
while,
with
and they're
him, so
both
we
being
can
little
see, like,
nerds, and it's so good.
Fun relationship. Where could this go? I will admit, back in the day, I was looking for the Shiro Matt fanfics.
No, okay. Literally,
I
like,
wanted.
every Clans fanfic that I read usually had Shiro Matt as, like, a side thing. So,
Shiro
like, there
Matt
was, like,
in the
a...
background.
There was like a college AU thing, and I was like, oh yeah, and it's Shiro Matt. It's like nice.
Brilliant.
We're sweet.
This is what we like.
But back to the separating your characters thing. We're not saying don't ever do it ever at all, ever. The biggest thing is not doing it for too long. If it gets to a point where you're really feeling like it's been too long, that's the problem. Right?
Well,
It's like 3 episodes of like a show.
It's interesting in Hunter x Hunter because they have a whole season where the 2 main characters,
Too
Gon
long.
and Killua, are separated.
Too long.
And, well, yes and no. Because the reason they're separated, I don't know if you want to throw the spoiler tag up.
Sure, I will.
Okay. So we'll wait. 3, 2, 1. Spoilers for the final season of Hunter x Hunter. Basically, at the end of the season that precedes the last season, Gon basically sacrificed himself to defeat a really powerful enemy, and it left him withered, completely withered, on the verge of death. Like, he is at death's door. He is a mummified corpse. And Killua, being the awesome frigging character and friend that he is, decides to have a whole separate arc where he goes and gets someone from his family who can help revive Gon. Now, in that situation, it makes sense. One character is completely out of commission. Gon isn't moving. He's not doing anything. He's not going anywhere. He is fucking comatose. He's dead, basically. So nothing's happening character-wise there. Now, we're still, like, switching back and forth between an A plot and a B plot, but we're not missing out on anything with Gon. But through Killua's, like, desperation to get this person to Gon, we can feel their relationship. We can feel how strong their friendship is. What pissed me off is that at the end of that season, after we spent so much time apart in a way that made sense, once Gon is revived, they still decide to go their separate ways. And they didn't make more after that, but it does continue in the manga. So I'm not sure if and when they get back together. But it frustrated me so much that it was like they were already apart because of Gon's condition. And now he's back and healthy again. You are telling me that after all that desperation, they are not going to spend every single waking moment together? Like, just bring him along. Bring your sister along. You guys can have like a... Oh, thank you. That's the word. I was like, why are we splitting up here? You spent the season apart and Gon was at death's door. Why wouldn't Killua want to spend time with him after all that effort? It pissed me off so much. Because I was like, we went through all this to get Gon back, and now they're not even going to be adventuring together anymore. What was the point?
Why is this so difficult to figure out how many episodes Keith was not in the main thing? I'm really annoyed.
But like, yeah, that's why Hunter x Hunter like gets me there, because I'm like, it's the end of the series. Like, it would be cliche, but can't Killua, his sister, and Gon just go off on an adventure together, please? Nope. Instead, we're gonna say, no, I want to spend time with my sisters separately. She's got to get used to being outside because she's been locked away her whole life. It's like, okay, you guys can do that together. And honestly, I think Gon and Alga would have a really fun dynamic because they're almost cut from the same cloth in their childhood innocence. It's just one has been outside his whole life and the other has been inside her whole life. That could have been a really fun dynamic. I don't know. Maybe in the manga, it doesn't last very long and they do come back together. All I know is that is how the anime ended, and that is not how I wanted the anime to end. Especially after all that build-up. Of like, I want my friend back. I want my friend back. Like, you're saying this, but you still leave him at the end. Huh? I could rant about that one forever. Yeah, no fun dynamic for you. No potential opportunities. You know what, Allie? This is why fanfiction exists. Okay. Because where there is potential, that's where the writers come in.
I can't seem to find... I'm gonna spoilers because we're Voltroning again and we don't care about Voltron.
Yeah, I'm done with Hunter x Hunter.
My brain. I can't figure out how many episodes of the show specifically Keith was in the Quantum Zone. However, the specific thing, and I think this is the bigger issue, is the fact that he was there for the equivalent of 2 years in the Quantum Zone, and the rest of the crew did not grow for 2 years without him. So he gets 2 years of character development and comes back to them at the same time, and he's the same, but not. It's very weird. It's just like, it's not right.
I definitely did not watch that.
No, that was season 6 apparently. Shows that did the time apart very well. Our Flag Means Death.
That one was good.
Our Flag Means Death. Because it both has they're lamenting each other, but we see their own lives. It's interesting what is happening to them, so it's not like, oh my god, why are they not back together yet already? And when they do come back together, it's not just like, oh, they're automatically chill, or oh, they're automatically whatever, or oh, that, you know, it's like, no, shit's gone down, like shit's happening, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like good stuff. Now, Dragon Prince, which I'm not up to date with, so don't spoilers, but like, I don't know what season this was part of, but basically the main original part, the plot of the story happens, and then Callum and God, what's her name? What's the elf's name? Rayla, thank you. Yes, Rayla. Callum and Rayla, they have their little kiss. And I guess this is spoilers. They have their little kiss, and then the season's over. And then the next season is fucking like a long time later. I don't remember how much later, but a significant amount of time later. And it turns out they fucking like broke up completely off screen. In apparently like a comic or something, but who fucking cares? It doesn't matter. Completely off screen, okay? So now they're having like issues when they get back to, like, they're not back together in a relationship, but when like they meet up again, right? Because they're like, Callum's a little fucking pissed about it, under fucking standably, but it's like, for us who only watch the show, we're like, what the fuck? Why are they so cold? Didn't they just kiss? You know, like this is no time for us, right? Ooh, that's a really good thing. I guess spoilers for the Owl House now.
We are really jumping all over the place.
Because the Owl House got shunted in its final season, it did have to do a lot of things
Disney.
that they probably wouldn't have done if they had gotten a full season worth of stuff. However, I think they coped very well with this by doing one specific thing, and that is a montage. The biggest thing we missed out on season 3 is having the cast and explore the human world now. All the Boiling Isles people did not get to explore the human realm. Unlike with how we got to with Amphibia, we got to see Sprig and Hop Pop and Polly explore the human realm and have like human realm shenanigans. Okay? We got to see the other side. Owl House was not allotted this time to do that. Okay? However, in order to show that time did pass without us being thrust in like forward in time randomly with like a 2 years later thing and having to do like a lot of exposition and stuff, we actually get a montage that shows shenanigans, that shows them researching how to do stuff at home, like that shows all this stuff and gives you information as to the vibe of how everybody's chilling in the human realm, as to the vibe of what they're focusing on in the human realm, and how much time is passing.
Joke made all the way back in season 1.
So good.
That was satisfying.
But the point is that it felt like time was passing. So by time we got to like the show being like out of montage, right, it felt like it makes sense that they're being a little more human clothy and like they got a little more knowledge of what's going on, and like we've been researching stuff. And while it would have been a much more enjoyable time if we had gotten to experience that in episodes to a full extent, having the montage, I think, did fill a void that is shown up in things like how the Dragon Prince did it, or you know how all that sort of stuff. So it's like, just be very careful with separating your main characters when that is not the goal of the whole thing, because at least in Naruto, Sasuke was not coming back.
And careful from separating them from the main plot.
Like really do it.
You got to make sure you're going a direction when you choose to do that.
You really have to do it with a lot of intention. A lot of intention. You really can't just do it willy-nilly. And you have to make sure that that time of part is reflected in when their time is back together. Because it depends on what are the reasonings that they broke up in the first place, right? Not necessarily broke up relationship, but why are they apart in the first place? Is it a betrayal? Is it a kidnapping? Does one think they're dead? You know, is it like go off to save the world?
Make myself stronger.
Yeah, you know, what is the and how does the other character feel about that? Like, bitch, why can't you be stronger with us? Or are they like, oh, go find yourself? So when they come back, they're like dude, yeah, you finally found what you wanted?
Ultron, Ori, did they relate Keith's leaving to his feeling incompetent as leader?
So
because that was a big thing that they were hinting at.
My recollection was that it's mostly as a way it is mostly like a I need to go it alone sort of classic fucking edgy rogue vibes. But also it's like, this is my mom and I want to travel with my mom. And at a certain point it's like, bitch, like, please, you don't know her. I get it, but like, this is your family.
Universe is at
I hate that.
Stake.
What I hate
but
this,
also
this is
the universe is at stake. Like,
well, they are looking for things in
look.
the stake thing. Like, they are looking for stuff in doing that. But really, the quantum zone is like a way where, like, Keith and his mom can bond over 2 years and then come back, and no time has passed for everybody else because they were in a weird time rift warp thing. And it's like, but he should be very different. 2 years is a long time. We should have more
A long
tension
time.
about this. You know, if he's now a better leader because of it, like, what is the tension between, like, Lance and Keith? You know, between Hunk and Pidge? You know, and everybody being, like, even Allura and Karan, like, you know, 2 years is a long, from 19 to 21, that is like a significant part of your life, okay? Like as a human, as like doing all this stuff, you fucking adopted a dog, you know, like there's a lot of things that happen, and we just like get
glossed over it.
We glossed it. He came back, and it was like, no time had passed, and it was like, oh yeah, and it was like, okay, cool, you know, great. Like,
reminds me of what they did with Marco in Star versus the Forces of Evil, where he got like all this training and was like, what was it, 32 years old?
Yeah, it was a long time. It was like he was like in there for 20 years or something. It was a long time.
So much time training that he actually physically did age. But
yeah, it was a really long time.
He lost his body, but he still had all those memories and all that training. So it's like, when you do that, you've essentially introduced the audience to a new character. Because, like, there has been so much change in that amount of time.
Yeah, it's not just that he got buff.
Like,
oh, nice, Allie.
How has this experience changed this character?
Yeah. It made everything weird. It made the Heckapoo shit really fucking weird, gotta say. That whole shit. Because he's not, like... there's a lot of, you really have to be careful with wibbly wobbly timey wimey shit, okay? You can do it real sus real fast. You also have to be very careful with like body swap related shit. You have to be really fucking careful about. You really have to think about it, because like a big thing is like with Wonder Woman, the second movie, that body swap shit is like, he looks like the same guy to us and everything, but then you realize at the very end again that this other random dude that is fully conscious now again after all of that, and it's like,
that is a no-no.
Yeah, he should have been, Allie, right? Like that's what it should have been essentially, yeah. But then it makes the Heckapoo thing weird, because it's like he is an adult, but he's still like physically 15 in our world. And then yeah, the Star thing is it's all very weird. And they basically just gloss over it as a way to give him powers. You know how side character gets cool powers and is like kind of OP sometimes, but like can actually fight now, was done well in Kim Possible, okay? It's done well in Kim Possible. Ron actually has to go through training. Okay, there's a whole thing where he actually has to go through training, and while he's technically separate from Kim, they're not actually separate, and so that's really cool. Like, it's good, okay? It's a whole thing. But then he ends up accidentally getting mystical monkey powers, right? As it's goofy, right? The way that it happens, and that's fine. The villain is goofy. It's Kim Possible. Like, it's not supposed to be like super, super serious or anything, right? But he did have to go through work. And then it is shown that like, it's kind of like Kung Fu Panda vibes, where it's like the Dragon Warrior is you, right? So yeah, he's being imbued with this mystical monkey power, but he's not like actually doing anything that he's not capable of, if that makes sense, right? He's just like unlocking it, like I was only using like 2% of my power, right? And so it's cool there. And then you get the additional joke that Rufus is also one of them, has mystical monkey power, which is a funny gag that gets repeated over and over again. And then the last thing is that never goes away. The mystical monkey power never goes away. Now, what I mean by it never goes away, it's not like present all the time. He can't always just bring it up on will. He mostly brings it up on will in specific monkey-related scenarios, which is the whole gag the entire time. But then you also get the additional gag. No, it never goes away, Allie. It comes up multiple episodes, completely down for the rest of the seasons. He always has mystical monkey powers. He's not always harnessing them, and he can't turn it on fully at will, but he can. But that's part of the joke. And he's always still like we still have moments where Ron is incredibly capable without the mystical monkey powers. And we also have times where Ron is fully capable because he is a coward and good at running away. They literally make Ron star running back of the football team because his entire life has been spent outrunning villain shit. So he's really fucking good at running and dodging. Like, it's so good. It's so good. It's so
This
good.
has been a please watch Impossible PSA.
It holds up really well. And I'm not just saying that like nostalgia. Like, I have watched it recently. Okay, like within the past 4 years I have watched it. Okay, like fully, like the whole thing, not just an episode or two. I have watched just an episode or two in the past year. It's just really good. Really good. It's so good.
Dude, they know how to write their characters.
So they don't make him a track star. And the reason they don't make him a track star is because the whole premise of what happens is he's originally the mascot. He's really good at being the mascot, okay? But that's not high school socially acceptable. So Kim is dating the mascot, and that's like not socially acceptable, right? And so Ron, I'm pretty sure what happens is Ron wants to be like better for Kim, right? In like the social hierarchy. So he tries to join the football team because the football athletes are like the highest on the rung ladder of the fucking thing. Like Bonnie, the classic mean girl, you know, antithesis to Kim, is dating the star quarterback, right? So the way to be up there is to be, football. Oh, it's so good, Pastry Puff. And it's like, there's not a lot of like, you know, you can watch like one episode every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to like binge it. Like, it's not like, oh my god, I'm so hooked, I can't stop watching sort of thing. Like the episodes are 99% of the time
down and have a life, which is
like
kind of
episodic,
nice.
right? They're episodic, but they're not bottle, right? So the like stuff does carry over. Villains come back. We don't lose growth. We don't lose gadgets. We don't lose, you know, it makes sense, and it's very good. I really recommend it. And again, as really just like you come home, you have a long day, you want to just relax, watch an episode. You know, like you really don't have to, because that's what I did with Randy Cunningham. It was very much, you know, you come home, you watch an episode, it's good. Now, there's every once in a while those couple episodes that they like to do where it's like 2 episodes long. Like I think A Stitch in Time is like that or something. I think the last one, that might be a movie that's actually a movie. I don't know. It's just really good. Like, I
mean,
really love the characterizations
like
of it.
Season finales.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. Where it's like, oh, they do carry over between episodes. But there's so much in that show that gets, you know, like, nobody talks about it. I don't hear people talking about it, okay? And it holds up really well. Have I ever watched Ben 10? I have watched a couple episodes here and there of Ben 10. I have never been an avid Ben 10 fan. By the time I was in the era where I was really trying to get into cartoons, Ben 10 was in the, like, the little version of it. I don't know which Ben 10 that is. The more recent Ben 10.
Oh yeah, that was like the reboot they did.
It was like a reboot, yeah. Not that, because I remember watching episodes of the older looking Ben 10. I have to remember what they looked like. There's
older
Ben
looking
10,
Ben 10 was good.
There's Ben 10.
The teenage one was
Alien Force.
Oh, right.
Ultimate Alien, Omniverse, and Ben 10 2016. Okay, let me look at.
Yeah, Omniverse was the one where they're all teenagers.
Okay, it was not the original Ben 10. That's not what I'm thinking, Matt. I think it might be Alien Force is the one that I can recall. Yeah, okay. I think I watched some of Ben 10 Alien Force. Left to right is Ben 10 2025. Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, Omniverse. Yeah. So I did not... Yeah, so it was Alien Force is the one that I've seen a couple episodes on. So I like... Alien Force was one where it's like I saw the first episode, so I learned like how they got like the Omnitrix and everything. And that was real wild. But it was just never one of those shows that I was like I didn't try to record it or anything. I'm pretty sure that was like my Kim Possible face. So I was like deep in Kim Possible.
I do recall being really excited when they did the live action Ben 10 because, like, I think I was 8 years old and was like, whoa, this is so cool. Live action of a show I like. I was a dumb kid. Although the song they wrote for that movie fucking slapped.
But no, see, when I sit back and I think about like all the shows that I really watched as a kid, it's really not that many shows. I really gotta tell you, I really didn't watch that many shows. I'm like trying to think. Teen
Titans original was definitely one for me. I used to watch
like
a lot of live action Disney Channel. Like, it was
I watched a lot of iCarly,
Lizzie McGuire,
Drake and Josh,
Hannah Montana.
See, I didn't
Wizards
watch,
of Waverly Place was a big one for me. I loved Selena Gomez growing
that
up.
Group. The big shows I watched was Drake and Josh and iCarly. I also watched a lot of Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. That one I watched a lot of.
It was interesting. I don't think I watched a Disney cartoon until Phineas and Ferb came out, now that I think about it.
Kim Possible was big. Kim Possible is like, again, a very shaping thing of me. I didn't watch Avatar until college, so like, or high school. So that was much later in life.
Yeah, I watched Avatar with a group of friends over at my best friend's house. And it just happened to be like running a marathon that one day. So we were like popcorn on the floor, like we were invested. And of course, the episode we ended on was the Crossroads of Destiny finale of season 2. So we were just like, what the hell? We felt the word fuck before we even knew what it meant.
Yeah, no, Allie, Kim Possible is a very large part of my childhood. And Kim Possible is such a shaping part of me, because especially like what my dad did to get it. I have it on DVD because of him, the fact that he quotes it and he knows it very well too, you know. Like, no, Kim Possible was a big part of my life. I did watch Danny Phantom, and I did watch Timmy Turner, The Fairly Odd Parents. I did watch those. Of course I watched SpongeBob. You can't not watch SpongeBob. The early SpongeBob. I
eventually got into 16 and Total Drama Island.
Yeah,
and
those I never was. Those I was never part of at all. I did not like Total Drama Island.
Those were fascinating to me. Because it was almost like seeing what a show could get away with for the first time. And I was just like,
yes, Paige,
I was just intrigued by it, I guess.
But yeah, because it's very wild to try and sit here and be like, what shows were like my childhood, and then what shows was like me discovering it later and going back and then watching the show, right? Adventure Time, I was fairly on the cutting edge of, but that show like started later in our lives. Like, when did Adventure Time first come out?
That was like when we were in middle school, or maybe 5th grade. 2000 something, I know that much.
2010. So we would have been 12-ish. So
middle
6th
school.
grade. Yeah. So by time like I was in like 7th grade, I was watching it on the TV in no random order, in no specific order. When I got to 10th grade, I discovered the website that we find gold at today, and I was able to watch all the Adventure Time episodes in order, and that's how I got to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender in order, and that's how I got to watch all of the Kim Possible episodes in order for the first time, because I had never watched them in order before. I had just watched them like when they were on TV, and then I got to like watch all these things in order, and so it's a really wild ability when you sit there and you think about like, man, no. Because I remember trying to like watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, like just by recording it, but you had to like really try, and sometimes the listings were wrong, and I just gave up in trying to like watch it in order. because you had to
That's
just
the worst.
constantly record it, and then you constantly had to like delete them because you only had so much memory, and your parents are recording 80 billion shows, and then you know, and then it's like, oh god, I don't know. You just had to keep doing that, and I kind of gave up. I was like, I can't do it. So it wasn't until I could sail the 7 seas that I really was like, oh yes. And then when I could see, this is really funny. So I actually started watching Fairy Tale before I could sail the 7 seas, and I watched the first episodes of Fairy Tale on YouTube because YouTube was still young, where they didn't have a big crackdown yet on
Back in the day.
yeah. Yarhar indeed, Allie. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Mars and I have a Crunchyroll subscription, but there's just so much media out there, you know? And you just can't get some of it.
Hard
You just can't get some
sometimes.
of it. The fact that Voltron is gone off Netflix.
Yeah.
You can't watch it
We're never
legally
gonna
ever
see it
again. You can never watch it legally now.
I am pissed because that means they could possibly take Klaus off.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to take Klaus off. I fucking love that movie. That is now my go-to Christmas movie.
It's
It is
such
part
a
of the
good movie.
lineup. I will be so mad if they take that down. Like, guys, at least release a DVD. Please. I'll spend money, I promise.
Huh. It's not on a DVD, huh? Someone has it as a DVD on Etsy. Why is it not on Amazon? Interesting. That's crazy. I guess I have a job to do. Wait, it
Oh?
is what, Allie? Voltron's gone off Netflix, yeah. Literally, like, within
Yeah.
a week of now. Voltron is gone.
They took it off.
They took it off. But with that sad note, and thoughts of 7 seas and keeling boats, that's where we'll end stream, as we ranted beyond our normal end time.
Yes.
And it is sadly
And
only
Mars
Friday.
needs to get up early tomorrow.
Yes. However, guys, Ace Attorney tomorrow, normal time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come watch it. It's the last one before Dylan goes back to stupid hours for a little bit, so you won't want to miss it. Maybe I'll get to voice my
Give him
character.
one last Christmas gift, seeing him act.
Will Mars have her voice nailed down? Let's see. All right.
We shall see.
Thank you to our lovely channel members here as we go.
Hey,
I
I'm
forgot to scroll.
talking here.
Hey, I'm walking here. Hey, forget about it. You just gotta find your thing to get into it, you know? I hope we meet my character. I've been practicing my voice for her. I'm very excited. But yeah. Thanks to everyone for coming and hanging out tonight. I'm literally nearly done with this poster. It's literally just like 30 seconds away and a couple shadows, but maybe one day. It will obviously be done one day. But thank you all for coming, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Take care.